Hello, everyone. We are here. Welcome, everyone, to the Second Take, Episode 9 Live. Matt and Justin will be joining us very, very shortly, but for now, it's called The Monologue, which is just me speaking to the fan base. Now, we advertise this as a rant, and it's going to be a factual education lesson. Okay, is everyone ready? Here we go. We're going to call this the State of the Union. Let's begin. What is cheating? Cheating means to act dishonestly or unfairly in order to gain an advantage, especially in a game or examination. What did the Houston Astros do? The Astros used a camera positioned in the center field to steal signs during games. Oh, guys, if anyone has any trouble understanding this, I have an image later explaining this all out, so you don't need to worry. A very nice graphic. Very, very nice. By the Associated Press. Very nice graphic. And team personnel would watch the feed in the hallway between the clubhouse and dugout, and they would relay the message to what was coming to the hitter by hitting a garbage can. The MLB discovered that they used illegal electronics. You can read the rest. Just give you another 30 seconds. Give you one more second, guys, to just read that. Let's go next. This is against the rules, guys. Can't forget that. No, the rant has not started yet. Just keep me in mind. They were penalized. Not really. The players weren't suspended, which is I have a very big problem with, but we're getting to that later. The bottom line, other teams in the MLB do cheat and use the video room to their advantage. But you need to know that no team cheated or stole signs on the level the Astros did. The Houston stole the signs on real time. Very bad. This is the image. Let me zoom in on this for you, everyone, so everyone can see. And I hope everyone can notice that this is how they did. It was very bad, very cheating, very wrong of them to do that. And it really bothers me. It really pisses me off if everyone didn't know that. And we're almost done with this. This is what they did. We had the camera in center field. Then the video monitor and the player would bang on a trash can. Very terrible. Now I have a few pictures to show you. I stand up for cheating. AJ Hinch. When the owner says stealing signs actually didn't help. Had a funny sign planned for this week, but the Astros stole it. That's someone. I imagine very few people I know doing that, but I would actually do that. That's something I would do actually. Their championship ring. If you haven't seen that, that's the ring. The strike zone was released. New modernized baseball and the new coaching staff. Now let's address last night. The points that we saw last night. Here we go. That's Joe Kelly if you didn't know. Joe Kelly was suspended 8 games for his actions in the bottom of the 6th inning last night. He didn't hit any players. He actually says he loses control of pitches when he throws them. He doesn't know where they're going. So wait for it. Now, Lance McCullers said stupid stuff. This is what they tweeted. If Joe Kelly serves a single game of that 8-game suspension, he would have been punished more than any of the players that cheated to win. The 8-game suspension would, in a 60-game season, is equivalent to 22 games, and the entire Astros team was suspended a total of 0 games for cheating the game and sign stealing a World Series. Joe Kelly made a funny face at them and gets 8 games. Terrible. Now, here we go. The bottom line. Joe Kelly is a true hero, and what he did was for the, any guesses? Greater good. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And here is Matt and Justin.
That was great. I love that.
That was good.
That was great. That
Otherwise,
was great.
otherwise, I liked it.
That was
I
great,
liked
Jacob. That was a great rant session. Great rant
Thank you.
session.
It was for the greater good, right?
For the greater
good.
good. For the greater good.
How you doing,
So
Matt?
now-
Good?
I'm doing very well. Very well. I
So-
enjoyed the rant sessions very well. Very well. How are you, Justin?
Segment one. I'm enjoying myself. Ready for basketball tomorrow.
Oh, it's gonna be the
Training
best.
set for football. Hopefully the Jets get something. We'll talk about Jamal Adams later. And the
They're
Yankees are
gone.
winning. What could get better?
The best. The best.
So far, it's good.
Yeah, we are here tonight. And we are having a great day today. Everyone's happy. Everyone's excited. Everyone's happy to be here, which is the most important. So let's start it off today. Oh, here we go. The Miami Marlins season was suspended as a result of actually 16, not 15, 16 members of the team tested positive for coronavirus. No other club since then has tested positive, which is very good to hear. The Phillies didn't. And 16 Marlins will be sidelined for a period of time. So now let's discuss. What does the MLB coronavirus outbreak mean for the NFL season? Matt, you can start.
I mean, I'd have to say that the NFL certainly has to take this into account when they're talking about their plans for the season starting. They have to take into account that a lot of responsibility is going to be put on the players to keep themselves safe when they're not inside the team facilities because they're not doing a bubble like the NBA and NHL. So there's a lot of responsibility in the players. And if they can keep themselves safe, I think the NFL season has a good chance of starting. Obviously, a lot of players have opted out, but I think there's a good chance if the players keep themselves safe and are smart, that the season could go on just fine.
Yeah.
For the MLB season, after 14 people on the Marlins got COVID, it's going to be hard for the NFL to start because it's more of a hands-on sport with tackling and all of that. They would have to go in a bubble for any of this to work out because they're going to have to travel, and that's not going to work because traveling could spread more disease. So they should go somewhere, get hotels, and do it.
Yeah, I think this is actually helps the NFL. The NFL is able to sit back and relax and see how the NHL, NBA, and MLB has been able to do.
Yeah, the NFL should be in the best spot.
But the one thing that it shows
they're doing well.
NHL, no tests.
Zero tests.
No
Zero positive.
But it shows to me, though, the one thing is that it might be harder to pull off a football season because if you think about it,
maybe
it really shows how the players need to be so serious and take this thing very seriously because if the Miami Marlins clearly a younger team, players might you don't know what they're doing. You can't control them after what they do after the game, before the game, or throughout the week. So you really need to be aware, and also their families too. If they have a family staying with them, you have to be really careful and see what everyone's doing, because that one player can ruin it for all. And yeah,
certainly.
I think for the sports, they all have to be in a bubble with this virus, or else it'll just keep going.
I have to agree with Justin.
That's the only thing.
The bubble seems to be very effective. I don't think the NFL and the MLB will be able to pull off a bubble. So
NFL 100% not bubble, but
not at all.
Baseball, maybe they were saying New York.
Maybe, but Cuomo shouldn't be focusing on that though. He's a lot more stuff on his plate.
So now, while we're waiting for our next guest, do you think, Matt, the Cowboys or Jets will be in the Super Bowl within the next 5 years?
If I was going to have to bet on it, I'd have to say the Cowboys, but I realistically don't think either of them will be in the Super Bowl in the next 5 years. That's just my opinion. But if you're going to say between the two of them, I'd say the Cowboys have a better chance than the Jets.
Two things. First of all, Nick, when you're ready, join the chat for segment 2. And the other thing is, to be honest, I like the New York Football Jets overall in 2 years compared to the Cowboys. But I don't.
Years.
I'll tell you why.
Yeah, what's up?
Because with Becton, Sam Darnold improving, we have a good secondary. We have Brian Poole, Quincy Williams. We have left in his contract. We have C.J. Mosley, a top linebacker. We have Quincy Williams, who's a good draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like compared to the Cowboys, to be honest, they have big contracts. They won't only be able to sign those 3 players, and they're getting a little old.
Listen,
I don't think they're going to make the playoffs.
my whole point is the Jets secondary needs to get a lot better before I see them even in contention. And they're off. They need a lot. They need receivers. They need a better offensive line. They need a lot of things in the draft for me to call them contenders because they haven't even made the playoffs yet. It's going to be interesting to see if the NFL season goes on this year to see what they can do.
I think at least 3 weeks the NFL season. I'm not giving anything else off that. UFC is doing what did it?
UFC is doing that is very true, Armand. They've been able to keep their cases down.
That is doing true. Jacob, what do you think about the Cowboys, Jeff?
I think the Jets.
If the
will
Jets
not
get
be-
Clowney, I'm sorry. GG.
No, you're not beating Mahomes. You're not beating Mahomes or Lamar Jackson. I don't think they stand a chance in any of that. So,
If
yeah.
the Jets are going to win the division, this year's their year.
I believe
If
the
it
Jets
is,
will win.
I-
If they get Clowney, I believe.
Talk about Mr. Genius Belichick later today, but not right now.
Is our
We
guest
have
here for segment 2?
Our guest here joining us.
Oh, it's
Here
the best.
is
That's the
Let's
best.
see. What's up, Nick?
How are you, Nick?
The best.
The
I
best.
don't know about that hat, but
Not a good hat.
Great.
Not a good
Okay.
hat.
So, let's talk about it. The Jets traded Jamal Adams and a 4th-round pick in 2022 to Seattle in exchange for Bradley McDougald, a 1st-round pick in 2021, a 3rd-round pick in 2021, and a 1st-round pick in 2022. So I'm going to start this one with you, Justin.
Oh,
Who
me.
won the Jamal Adams trade?
The Jets by far won the Jamal Adams trade. Jamal Adams wanted 20 plus. The next 2 years for Seattle, he said he's going to stay on his rookie deal, but that's a different story. Bradley McDougall's a good safety. I can tell you his stats right now, actually. He had 18 assists and 0.5 sacks and 2 picks last year. That was pretty good on the Seattle team.
How old is he?
He's going to be 28, 29.
Okay.
And he's going to be paired up with Marcus Mays, which I'm excited to see. Good safeties. And we got 2 first-round picks, which I'm thrilled with, and a 3rd-round pick. And Jamal Adams didn't even want to be here. He was complaining. Thank God we got something out of him. And we got more compared to the OBJ trade. And, yeah,
Sure.
man, we got more out of it. Joe Douglas is the best.
I mean, I think it has to do something with that OBJ. He was injured that season when the Giants did end up trading him. But, I mean, I thought the Giants got a good haul for him. And right now it's looking like the Giants won that trade. But if you're going to ask me about the Jamal Adams trade, I have to say that the Jets won by a big margin, at least right now. If Jamal Adams ends up playing like an all-pro safety for 2 more years and then resigns for a reasonable contract, I'd say that it might be a little bit 50-50 on that deal, depending on who the Jets use their picks on, obviously.
So I think that the Jets won it, but I think it's going to really depend on if Seattle wins. If they win it in the next few years, if they win either this year or next year, they have 2 years of Jamal Adams. So if they can win one of them, because they're clearly in the now mode, so if they can win, I don't think you can really say that somebody lost or won the trade because your goal is to win the Super Bowl every year. So if they win that, I guess they achieved what they wanted to. But if they can't win and Jamal Adams for some reason doesn't sign his extension, then I think it's a big loss for Seattle because you lost your first round 1 picks are gone for the next 2 years, and the Jets have 2 first-round picks for the next 2 years, which is big. So if they draft correctly, they could really have a good team, and also we could assume that they're going to have 1 pick within the top 10 and 1 within between 20 and 30. So that's good to me for the Jets.
I think the Jets will be banking on the fact that Seattle has a down year for one of those years, and that the pick is like in the mid-teens, so that they can actually get a good value out of the pick.
Nick, what do you think?
About Jamal?
Yeah, Jamal.
Yeah, so the Jets won it by a large margin. He was talking bad about the team, and that's not a good way to go out, but he was talking bad, and they got a decent safety out of
Bradley McDougald.
Yeah, and 2 first-round picks that could really upgrade their team in many ways, offensively or defensively, whichever they choose.
You know what the funny part is? No one said, "Oh, you're a great leader." By Jamal Adams. No one.
No.
So was he really a leader for the Jets? That's what
Jamal Adams basically lit the ground when he went out. That's basically what he
I
hit
feel
the ground.
You
Yeah,
can't do that. You're supposed to be a leader. You got Le'Veon. You got another team coming in.
like I'll be
Young,
honest.
good team.
Yeah,
You
like I'll
can't
be
put
honest.
that
It
way.
does show about the Jets organization that they clearly, if you have a star player, then they want to get out. Oh, this is what they have to do, and it shows them that it doesn't
But
really.
that's
it
not going to
doesn't-
happen again. Joel Douglas said it had nothing to do with it.
But but also the Jets were blown away by the offer, and I don't blame them
Yeah,
for
so that's
accepting
you
it.
take it. If
So
that
you
offer
take
wasn't
it.
there, they wouldn't have took that. I guarantee
Yeah,
it.
But
not
they
at all.
wouldn't have. Seattle wouldn't have offered for him if Jamal Adams wasn't so public about this.
That's true.
But they gave him a blown away offer.
Yeah,
But still, this would never have happened if Jamal didn't speak
time
up.
out. Time out. You wouldn't accept 2 first-round picks, a third-round pick, and a decent safety?
But they wouldn't just offer for Jamal Adams out of the blue. You don't do that. It doesn't
Right,
happen.
I would offer one of those picks. Just what if it's for Ezekiel Elliott? You wouldn't offer 3 first-round picks?
3 first. It's a lot.
Would you?
It's a lot. They
Or 2
didn't.
first-round
They
picks
didn't
for
offer that
third-round
though. They offered 2
Okay,
first-round
same
picks.
offer for the Jets. You give to Dallas for Zeke.
But we're not talking. That's different. We're not talking
I'm
about
asking you
that.
that, or any player in your Cowboys. I want to go off that. Would you
But
accept
you don't just offer teams randomly trades. It doesn't just
But
happen.
no. What Justin's saying is true. Let's say a team really wanted Zeke. They offer them 2 first-round picks. Jacob and Nick, would you take that deal?
I guess I would. It's a great deal, but I think they're more in the win now mode for Dallas, if anything.
But
So,
you have Tony Pollard, right? Off the bench.
Tony Pollard, but still, I still don't think you want your star running back, and yeah, the Jets have Le'Veon too, so I don't really know why they would offer that. Anymore.
Well, obviously you do
So-
have your star running back though, but running back is one of those positions where they have like a 5-year prime and then they end
You
up
can
falling.
sign Devontae Freeman off the free agency.
That's
Yeah,
it.
but still, I think Zeke is good for this.
So
This time.
wait, what do you think, Nick?
So you said 2 first rounds.
The
right?
Two
same
first
thing
round.
the Jets offered, but instead of Jamal, you put Zeke.
Okay, so, well, I mean, you did put a lot of money into Zeke with his big contract.
Yes. I think it's
2
6
years
years,
ago.
90, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, now 6 years. But you do have a good backup, Tony Pollard. And with 2 first-round picks, they could really fix their secondary that they do need to work on. So it could really – I wouldn't really want them to get rid of Zeke.
But if you
'cause
had to.
if I had to, then yeah. If he was doing what Jamal Adams is doing, then yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Jacob, what was I going to say? You're saying they're a championship team this year or the next 2 years? You said
What do you mean? What the
they're going to
question
make the
was?
Super Bowl. They have
Will be in the Super Bowl in the next 5 years.
No, I'm saying the next 2 years. Do you think they'll make the Super Bowl?
Who is Seattle?
Zeke and the Cowboys.
Zeke and the
I
Cowboys.
don't know enough to predict that. I'm a Cowboys fan, so I hope they do, but I don't know. I think it's
I don't
They're
think with the
definitely
top
a
NFC, I don't think so.
I think they're a contender. I don't. It's not something you debate about. And
The Cowboys will need a lot of smart
And
drafting.
then that's why I would trade the Zeke if he would want it out. I'm saying.
Yeah,
so
of
let's go
course.
to the next question. Who is going to have a better season, Keenan Allen or Mike Evans? Matt, you could start with this one first.
All right. Well, there was a big feud. Well, not really a feud, but Keenan Allen was very mad about his ranking in the NFL top 100. I forgot what the number was, but it was like mid 70s, I think, something like that. So Keenan Allen started calling out all the top wide receivers in the league, saying that I'm underrated and whatever else. But in my opinion, Keenan Allen he's a top 10 receiver, but he's not a top 5 receiver. Mike Evans is easily a top 5 receiver in the league.
Not this
I
year.
think not well, maybe we'll see. But I think he's still a very good. I think he's definitely higher than Keenan Allen is right now. So I think he will end up having a better season than Keenan Allen. And he also has Tom Brady this year. And who does Keenan Allen have? Tyrod Taylor. Like
I'm
I don't
saying, how many weapons does the Buccaneers have?
I mean, they do have
Much more than the-
they do have Chris Godwin, but I do think Mike Evans will still have a good season, despite that.
Personally, I don't think so. With all those 3 great players, and Keenan Allen last year in 2019, 104 receptions, 1,199 yards, 6 touchdowns. It's not even that bad with Phillip Rivers. And you have so many other weapons with Melvin Gordon, Austin Eckler. You had Mike Williams, Hunter Henrys, compared to Mike Evans this year of who
Yeah,
he
so
had.
it's like the same situation though.
But I would say Keenan Allen's a better talented player.
I mean, I don't know. I still think Mike Evans will have a better season this season. That's just my opinion.
I'm just saying off of different aspects with Brady.
I mean,
I
makes
think,
sense.
yeah, I think Mike Evans will have a better season because the Chargers are sort of not really sure of their QB situation, even though they have the rookie quarterback. I still don't. I still think Mike Evans is more of a focus
He's not
on
going to get that many
Tampa.
touches. I'm telling you, he's not getting that many touches.
Well, it depends who they're versing per game. If they're versing someone who has bad cornerbacks, I think he's going to get a lot. But I think the offense is mainly focused around the pass. They're a West Coast offense in Tampa, so I do think that Mike Evans is destined to have a.
You
very
also
good
do
year
have
this
Bruce
year.
Arians down there as that coach, and he's going to see that Mike Evans is a great talent, and he's going to target him. So,
Yeah,
I think that makes sense.
yeah. Nick, any thoughts?
Yeah, I would say Mike Evans over Keenan Allen. The QB situation in with the Chargers, obviously, it's gonna change things about his receptions for Keenan Allen or targets and stuff like that. And Mike Evans does have a lot of targets on. I mean, Tom Brady does have a lot of targets with all the weapons that Tampa has, but even with all that, Mike Evans is still a very talented wide receiver and is still going to get a decent amount of receptions.
I fully
out of that.
disagree on that. I feel like
No,
Keenan Allen,
I agree with Nick. I agree with
Keenan
Nick.
Allen's going to have a good year because who's going to be there besides Hunter Henry's? And you could even say Eckler. Who else?
That
Exactly.
is.
He's going to get more receptions, more touches than Mike Evans. You could even say more touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's my
I
opinion.
don't know about that.
That's my opinion off that. And
Yeah, we'll see. We'll have to see.
and then Tyrod Taylor too. I'm excited for, and he was good on the Bills. Now 2 more years.
I mean, he was, but he hasn't played starting QB in a while.
You could say the same thing with J.R. Smith. Is he still putting up numbers?
Who?
J.R. Smith. We could talk about basketball. J.R. Smith still putting up numbers. Carmelo
But
Anthony
it's a
putting up
different
numbers.
sport. Different.
That's a different
It's
sport, and it's also
different.
scrimmage too. So
I'm saying Carmelo from this year when he was out last year.
I mean,
Still
Carmelo
doesn't-
didn't play last year though. Tyrod Taylor didn't really play at all last
In
year.
football, yeah, it's a little different.
I
It's a
believe.
little
I
different.
believe in. I always like Tyrod Taylor. I believe.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't like him. It's just I don't think he's more of like a mobile QB that really doesn't put up the stats like a pocket pass like Brady would. So I don't know. That's just how I see it.
But that's a better thing to have the Chargers more of a scrambler quarterback compared to Brady.
I don't know. I just see Mike Evans having a better
But
season.
he's only good at long balls. You could say too with Mike Evans.
I mean, that's true, but it's
Brady
definitely-
can't throw that long this.
It's definitely listen, but Mike Evans is very good at the jump ball. Even if Brady throws like a 25-yard pass, he high point, and Mike Evans is able to high point the ball.
How many games last year did he have like 0 receptions with Winston? He had a couple, 1 or 2 games with that.
Well, it's gonna happen. It's not his fault though. It's his QB's fault.
I think with Keenan Allen, he's gonna get receptions every single time.
I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
And you could argue he's the second best receiver in the AFC West. I think he is.
Who's in front of him though?
Tyreek Hill. Otherwise,
Fair.
So
So you want to go from there, and then we'll see you
yeah,
segment 4, Nick?
yeah, Nick, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, we'll see you next segment.
We'll
We'll
see
see
you.
you later.
We'll
We could
see
join
you.
back in like about 5 to 10 minutes. Thank
Now
you.
I'm gonna text Armand,
Okay.
tell him to join.
All right. Sounds
Okay,
good.
so as we're about to let in our next guest, I would like to let everyone know that the Yankees are currently beating the Orioles 5-1 after 3 home runs. Aaron Hicks has a 2-run home run. DJ LeMahieu has 1 home run, and Aaron Judge has a solo home run. And the Houston Astros and LA Dodgers are currently tied in the bottom of the 4th inning with a runner for Houston on second base and first base. I'll provide you more updates later in the show. And no Houston batter has been hit yet. So we'll have to see what happens with that.
I think
Keep
that
in
was
mind, Joe Kelly he is appealing the suspension, so he will be in.
Matt, what are you
still
looking down at?
available
I'm
tonight.
wondering. What
I'm
were
just-
you doing?
So
There's
Mark,
no
what were
phone.
you looking down?
There's no phone.
What is
The phone is.
What is that then? You were looking down. What were you
I'm just looking down for a second. There's no worries.
Okay. And
let's let in our next guest.
So,
wrong guess.
Jared.
Wrong guess.
what's up, guys?
No, he was in the Pacers.
This one segment 3.
Oh, then you were here very early then.
Bye, Jared. See you in 2 more segments.
Oh, wait, what segment am I on?
Bye.
Oh, shoot. So
I'm
when
sorry.
should I come back?
I'll text you.
All right, bye.
Where's Armand?
He's here too.
Armand, what's up?
Hello.
How are you?
What's the Mets score
I'm
right now?
alright.
Jacob?
What?
What's the Mets score right now?
I don't know.
I'll look it up. All right, what was the question?
So let's look at this.
2-1.
Rockets guard. Eric Gordon could be out to 2 weeks with an injury, with an ankle injury. What does this mean for the Houston Rockets? I'll start with you, Armand.
I mean, he's not going to start over Harden. That's for sure. So he's probably going to play the 3. And so that is a setback for them. But if it's a minor injury, they might play him limited minutes. So we all have to. It really depends on how severe his injury is. Because if it's not that bad, he could play limited minutes. So their season won't be affected as much. But if he's out for 2 weeks, like just completely out,
He's going to miss
Then-
2 weeks ankle injury. That's what they said.
it's
Well,
a
it could be
guaranteed
up to 2 weeks.
miss
So.
2
Yeah, it's
weeks.
guaranteed 2 weeks.
Okay, guaranteed
All right,
2 weeks.
yeah, then it's going to be bad for them for that amount of time. They just have to, I guess, clutch up pretty much for those 2 weeks.
This is what I personally think. I think the Houston Eric Gordon can be 14.5 points he's averaging. Eric Gordon's averaging 14.5 points, but they're playing small ball. So I feel confident in them getting shooters open in general. When you have Russ and Harden, you can pass to Covington, DeAndre House, Austin Rivers. There's other options there, and PJ Tucker. There's other options
Yeah.
there. Russ and Harden could spread the floor much well. It's going to hurt, but I still think they'll be a fine team, but they're going to be better with Eric Gordon. But last year when they didn't have Eric Gordon, that was different because they had Chris Paul and they had Clint Capella, which was a whole different team.
Listen, the Rockets are going full on small ball, so I feel like Eric Gordon not being there will hurt them a little bit, but I feel like they'll be able to do it just fine without him. I feel like they're going to give him all the time he needs to recover so that they have their big playoff push. Because I don't know how much they care about seeding this year because, no home court advantage or anything like that, so I don't know.
You want to
Think
go
that-
over that seeding? Let's do that.
We'll do that. We'll do that before we start the playoffs.
Okay.
So we have the official seeds.
Okay.
Matt, continue, or are you done?
No, I'm done. That was
Okay.
all I had to say.
So the Rockets are really okay because this is why. Because Eric Gordon, even though he's a big part to them, the Rockets sort of have their playoff appearance sort of clinched. I don't know about the seed, so I wouldn't be so worried if I'm a Rockets fan. I would just make sure Eric Gordon's healthy. Most importantly, because I think it's more important to have him be out for longer and come back healthy than rushing it and then coming back and re-injuring himself. Because clearly, if you come back too early after two
Matt's a
weeks,
fast spinner, and now he's not
he's not
focusing.
going to be
anymore.
healthy. So,
Was that Armand?
That's Armand. That's not me.
Oh, my bad. I was accusing the wrong person. Okay,
So-
anyway. With Houston, they could become the 7th seed, which is going to hurt. 5th,
Yeah.
they could drop to the 7th, which is going to be annoying if they have to play the Clippers. But if
I
they're
mean-
the 5th seed, they could play the Nuggets, and then 4th or 5th under Utah, go off that.
To me, it all depends on how well Harden and Russ play. Because if they're playing very well and their whole team is hitting their shots, I feel like the Rockets could go up in seeding. But if they're constantly missing their threes and the small ball isn't working, it's going to be very detrimental to them for their playoff seeding.
To be honest, in the playoffs, you can't run small ball, in my opinion. There's going to be too many bigs. It's going to be aggressive. You need to get rebounds.
That's Mike D'Antoni's system. They're obviously going to try it. I don't know if it's going to work out well. But apparently, they think so. So they're going to do what
But
they
they're
want to
shooting
do.
like 50 plus, 40 to 50 plus threes, so that's going to help them a lot, in my opinion.
I mean, listen, as long as they play decent defense and they get their open shots.
I think it is. Lots of really Joel Embiid, the top center like that. Jokic just posting up on PJ Tucker. Like, come on.
I mean,
Girl.
listen.
They're going to give up so many easy twos.
PJ Tucker has to hold.
PJ Tucker is okay at shooting the free ball, but if a center is like kind of intimidating him to shoot, it's not going to work well.
They're basically on offense, they're running 5 out, basically, just looking for an open 3. But on defense, if PJ Tucker can't guard their center, it's going to be very, very hard for them to actually get to play clutch defense in like the final minutes of a game.
I think if it's a
Yeah.
7 foot, but you have to play aggressive during the playoffs. I don't even think they have a chance, in my opinion.
I mean, it's not that they don't have a chance. I don't see them going far.
It's very easy to miss your shot when you're shooting 3-pointers. Right to 2s.
Very
and all
true.
that.
Very true. Very true.
It's long rebounds. You're not going to have that many rebounds.
Very true.
I don't think that's
yeah, I would put any questions that we have or comments in the chat, but there's nothing really to put.
We'll talk to them.
Oh, there is something right
there is
now.
something. too.
But let's see who it is. Oh, isn't refreshed here yet. But let's move on, and then I'll put it on
Alright.
after this segment.
All right, perfect.
A few nights ago, Lou Williams left the NBA bubble in Orlando. He needs to quarantine as a result, and he will miss the first. He needs to quarantine, and as a result, he will miss the first 2 seeding games. How important is Lou Williams to the Los Angeles Clippers? I'll start with you, Justin.
Where was right here? Lou Williams is important in scoring, but the defense, with him not being on the field, the court is going to help them because somewhat he's a defensive liability. But when you have Pat Bev as a good defender, you can put him in instead of lineup, and you still have Reggie Jackson that could score. You could have Marcus Morris scoring. You could have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George scoring. I still think when they have to play the Lakers and the Pelicans, they could go 1-1 or 2-0, in my opinion. Personally, I don't think it's going to be
No, they're
that
not
much.
good. 1-1 I can see, but they're not beating my Lakers.
I think they're going to beat the Lakers tomorrow.
They're not.
Well, the Lakers are scrubs, so. it
There's
doesn't really
lots
matter.
of besides Kuzma, LeBron, and AD. Your floor, I'm
Wait, say that again?
Besides LeBron, Kuzma, AD. There you go. Who's the other player?
Besides them,
Yeah,
we have Caruso.
keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
Caruso, in my opinion, is a very good point guard. He is a very good point guard.
Are you okay?
He
Yeah, I'm
seems
fine.
seems to be an up and coming point guard.
I don't think
He
right
seems
now.
like to me a scrub.
Who else do they have? Armand?
Rondo, Howard,
Playing. Rondo's not playing.
Rondo's
Right,
injured, actually,
Howard,
so it's
McGee.
another scrub.
Dwight and JaVale are okay centers. They're good centers.
Okay.
Okay.
What else?
Who else? That's a 5
You want,
6
you want me to tell you who else is playing?
JR.
JR and Dion.
JR 's
They're all
playing.
right, but I don't think this is
Scrub.
Raiders.
He's calling them scrubs.
But besides those 3 players, you could say Dwight and JaVale, but I'm just saying in general. And if Kuzma has a bad night, it's only 2 players because Kuzma's on and off inconsistent.
Yeah, but that's the same thing with the Clippers, though.
What do you mean with the Clippers?
Besides Kawhi and Paul George, I mean,
They have Pat Bev. They have
Reggie Jackson.
but Pat Bev isn't the best at scoring.
He's the
He's not the best.
He's more of a primary defender, really.
Exactly. So he is, to some extent, you could say he is an offensive liability. To some extent.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's personal.
I can agree with that.
But you have Marcus Morris as well. You have Larry Shamet, who's good. Reggie Jackson, who's good.
They're good, yeah.
Patterson. They have other scorers besides Kawhi.
They also have Marcus Morris.
Right. He could put up 15, 20.
Yeah, but I just don't think they're going to beat the Lakers. I just don't.
Why?
Because that's my team. I'm not going to vote against my team.
So this is kind of biasism coming into this.
Well, sort of. I mean, you're biased towards Portland. You think Portland's going to make it to the
Talking about the
playoffs.
Lakers, but they have a better chance. But they have a good chance of making it with the Lakers and Clippers.
Yeah, but the Lakers are already going to be the first seed.
Yes, so clinch first
First
seed.
or
But
second.
This is what I'm saying. Out of the better team, Lakers, Clippers, we'll see tomorrow. But I
Okay.
personally think Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are the best duo in the league.
Better than LeBron and AD.
That's comparable. You could say that. Off the
There's competition there, but they're not the better duo. There's competition there. They're not the better duo.
But the best backcourt in the league is my Portland Trailblazers. And we'll go from there. You know I'm right. Am I wrong, Omar? Okay. And what was I going to say? They have Zubac coming back as well, so they're going to be also good. Larry Shamet's not that bad. He was good.
We're not calling Shamet bad.
I'm just saying the Clippers roster of office scoring, they're going to be fine tomorrow. And when LeBron and AD, you have Kuzma, the others you can't really contribute off of it. That's just my view on it. Off of tomorrow.
I mean, listen, I don't think they're gonna. I think Lou Williams not being there will probably hurt them, but I think they'll be okay in the long run. Because I don't know how much the Clippers care about the regular season, in my opinion.
Clippers are, if they get 4 or 5, maybe even four above wins, they'll clinch second seed.
Pretty much, yeah. They need like 3 or 4 wins, and they're
I
done.
will say that the reason Lou Will isn't playing the first 2 games is very stupid. Like,
I agree.
he did something very stupid.
It's not really family friendly, so we won't mention it.
No,
Armand wants to.
it's very dumb. Like, And the thing is, he has a family too, which is even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, we're not going to judge his decisions. We're just going to say, he's out. So whatever else.
No.
And Montrezl Harrell.
He's a grown man. He can handle his own decisions.
Zion's a game time call, so that's gonna be interesting. 6:30 tomorrow.
I mean, Zion was cleared though, so we'll
Wait,
see.
Zion's playing tomorrow, right?
No, it's 50-50. Game time call, they said. It's going to depend on the medics, how he feels, and if he's is it better long term, short term. They'll look into that tomorrow. Probably in the cup tomorrow, definitely.
What time do they play?
6:30. So probably in the afternoon.
Probably by like 6:15. They'll have a decision.
Yeah, probably. We'll know everything. And that'll be good opening day tomorrow. I'm excited.
It's gonna be great.
All right, that's good for me. Armand, you've been a good guest.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, Armand.
All right.
So the guest is down here. Can we talk about the
Oh,
Anthony Davis eye injury?
Anthony Davis is fine. He said Zion. Anthony Davis is fine, actually. Right now, he's projecting.
Anthony Davis looks like
Yes.
Kareem with his glasses on, which is very funny.
I'm just going to text Nick in a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so we're looking pretty good with everything so far.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be fine with the Anthony Davis situation, but I'm saying at the Lakers, it's going to be tough to win. That's just my opinion off of it. I don't think, compared to the Clippers, I like the Clippers team more. And you said you had a comment to pull up, Jacob, as well?
What? I don't, unfortunately.
You said you had something before. You're waiting for it to load.
Well, Nick did ask
There
just
he
to
is.
clarify that a small ball is when they
Oh,
use
Jake Paul and Nate
Yeah.
Robinson. Can I answer that, Matt?
Jake Paul and Nate Robinson. Jake Paul easily. I'm sorry. Listen, Nate Robinson is very feisty, but it's gonna be Jake Paul. He's been training for too long. I don't think Nate Robinson's gonna be ready. That's just my opinion.
What do you think, Jacob?
I think,
Welcome
Oh,
back.
yeah,
Nick.
the whole thing.
I
okay,
changed my hat.
so
I don't understand.
let's talk about, back in 1 second, let's talk about how opt-outs impact the Patriots and Bill Belichick this season. Matt, you could start. I'll be back, guys, in 1 minute.
All right, go ahead, Jake. But I think the Patriots are very good at having that next man up mentality. Obviously, they have a few high-level players that opted out, and Dante Hightower and Patrick Chung, big pieces of their defense. But I feel like Bill Belichick, he's a very good coach, so he's going to be able to rally the troops, and he's going to be able to get the Patriots to play to their full potential with players that might be considered lesser of their playing abilities to what they lost.
My opinion off this is Devin McCourty fine and Jason McCourty, they're healthy and all that.
They're all good. They're
Yeah.
fine.
No,
They're all
I'm saying Dante Hightower and Patrick Chung
are the two biggest players.
Lost all their players, but that's a big loss in my opinion. Without them, and you lost Cal Van Noy and Jamie Collins, and you lost your starting quarterback. And then Edelman's getting a little old. You don't have that many receivers. By Bill Belichick being the best coach in NFL, you could argue NFL history. No matter how good he is, I still don't think the Patriots pulling this off. If Cam Newton is good, I'll give them 9-7. If not, 7-9, 6-10.
I still think they'll be able to pull it off somehow. They'll somehow be able to pull off a successful season.
How will they pull it off, Matthew? Let's hear it.
Because Bill Belichick has been doing this for years now. He lets star players walk in free agency, and he just builds from what he has.
4 key players on your defense.
Okay.
4 and you're starting quarterback.
I don't think he
And
cares.
he never
I
had
think he
that.
has a plan, and he knows that if they
Oh, and
tank,
I have another
Thank
point.
you, Jacob. Thank
he
you.
doesn't care. And if anything, he's actually happy by this. This
Thank
is
No, I have
you.
another point. When did Edelman play without Brady?
Never.
Exactly. That's another thing to get.
And Adam
Okay,
Schefter
man.
said that he got a text from someone, and
Tough.
teams were concerned about what Belichick was doing because his plan about like letting players opt out, because it just seems that there's so many Patriots opting out. So just interesting, and I don't think it's anyway. I think it's very Belichick clearly has a plan due to this, or he's even letting them opt out, being like,
I
okay,
think there's
go.
too many holes. Too many holes on the defense.
I don't think he
He's gonna fit
cares.
4 or 5 holes into the defense. Be my guess, but I would not do that as a head coach. I don't
He
care how
knows what he's
fit 4 or
doing.
5 people in on offense. Nick, what do you think?
Well, last year the Patriots defense was number 1 in the league due to like their key players and other defensive players being opted out. They're going to go down on defense, and since they already did lose their starting quarterback and many others due to opting out, like I think they lost like an O line and fullback, something like that. Yeah, their team is not gonna. Even with Belichick, I don't think he could really recover from this. I think their season is going to be very downhill very quickly, especially in the beginning of the season. I think you're going to see that.
And you could argue if the Bills being a good team, and they might not even make the playoffs. To be honest,
Listen, the Bills are my pick to win the division right now, but I'm not going to doubt Belichick whatsoever. He has his ways. He knows what he's doing. So in Belichick, we trust.
I don't trust Belichick. You want to go over the wild card things again, Matthew?
Huh?
We can do that again after wild card things again. So who's gonna be the 4 other teams in the wild card?
If you're gonna have the Bills winning the division, I say you go. Let's go Steelers for 1. Who else?
Colts.
Titans or Colts, depending on who wins the division for another.
You can say the Jets. It's possible.
I'm not saying it's not possible, but I'm saying it could be a fight to see who gets that 7th seed.
You could say the Texans have another chance as well.
Maybe.
I feel like the
Maybe.
Patriots are not gonna. It's gonna be tough for them.
Again, it all depends on who wins that AFC South.
What do you think, Nick?
Well,
Team.
like 3 teams for the wild card.
Wild card.
Well,
Patriots
depends. Either Texans or Titans flip, whichever wins the division. Yeah, I'm probably gonna put Steelers in there.
Who's your last
I don't really see anyone from the Chiefs division going there.
Jacob, what do you think?
For the AFC, I think we're gonna have the wild card teams. It's gonna be tough, but I think it's really close. Honestly, I could say.
I mean, you could also
Houston,
put Denver.
definitely.
You could also put Denver in there too.
Oh yeah, Denver.
Yeah,
I forgot
it's
about
possible. So
Mhm.
it's
It
honestly
all depends on Drew Lock, though.
it
Mhm,
does.
yeah.
It's honestly very hard to even think about it too.
Wait,
We're
of
so
all
early.
this, when us 4 were talking about it right now, do we even include the Patriots in this?
I thought about them.
them.
I think they have a chance. I think.
I
They
would
don't
say-
think we're to.
I think only time will tell, and I think we still have to wait and see who opts out. If it just not,
If
I
everyone
think,
leaves it now, I don't think the Patriots have a chance.
I think they always. Do.
I don't think we can ever rule out the Patriots.
I seriously don't think.
The Patriots want to be the underdog. That's what they want you to think.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, there's so many better teams than them right now. They're not going over 10 wins.
We'll see about that. I don't know about
10, 11 wins.
so
We'll
let's
see.
do some fantasy football.
Fantasy football. We're getting close to that.
Your
Very
fantasy
good.
football top 5s. Quarterback.
Ooh,
Should we all name one, and then we'll
We'll go
discuss
from
another
there.
one?
We'll
Should we
go.
name our-
Well, you want to go 5 to 1 or 1 to 5? We'll do 1 to 5.
So the best one would be Mahomes. Matt, you can go.
Lamar Jackson.
Justin.
Mahomes.
No, like
Mahomes.
who's your third?
Number
Third. Who's third?
Third best?
Yeah,
Oh, my third best is Russell Wilson.
fourth. Nick.
Either Deshaun Watson or Dak Prescott.
And fifth, let's all debate it. I actually think about it once Nick mentioned it. I think Dak Prescott's actually a very good fantasy. He actually was a very good quarterback last year. in
Wait,
fantasy
time out. I
football.
have to say something. Shout out to
Yeah.
Gavin for 933.
Yes.
And now go back to what you were saying because you wanted to say that.
Nick is better than.
Gavin is quite wild.
Okay, Camper, what are you saying?
I think Dak Prescott's a great fantasy quarterback.
I agree with you. He was top 3 last
Yes.
year. He got more receivers, and he has Mike McCarthy now. I guarantee he's definitely top 5. But my 5th, I'll tell you my list right over here. Mahomes has so many receivers, great. Lamar's going to fall off a little to be the second
A
best.
little bit.
Russell Wilson's great every year. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Chris Carson off the running back. And they signed another tight end, right? They got the other healthy tight end. I forgot who it is.
They got Greg Olsen.
Greg Olsen. They got Greg Olsen.
Greg Olsen too.
Dak Prescott, got great receivers of CeeDee Lamb,
CeeDee Lamb
Michael
this year.
Gallup, Amari Cooper, Zeke Capastu. He is perfect. And my 5th one, you might be shocked. Second year coming out of this, Kyler Murray, with adding DeAndre Hopkins.
It's not a bad actually.
Not a
pick,
bad
to be
pick.
honest.
Not a bad pick.
No, that's
Especially
good.
in
I could
Cliff
see that.
Kingsbury's air raid offense. I don't
What round
think
would you
I'll
take
argue
him?
with
What round would you take him?
that. 6.
I could see around 6.
6.
6th, 7th. But
Yeah,
also,
6-7.
Kyler Murray's gonna be good. I could see him being the 5th best.
Mhm.
Because you added D Hop, you have Larry Fitzgerald, who's still good. You have Christian
Okay.
Kirk, and they have the other good tight end. I forgot David Gresham.
Great, I think Gresham, but I could see Kyler Murray being that totally. I have no arguments with that pick.
Jacob, what do you think with Kyler Murray being the 5th?
I think it's we have to see how he does. Honestly, we have to see how his last year they were clearly an improvement from the year before with Kyler Murray with him being added. So I think we really need to see certain things. We have 2 comments.
And we have the final
We have-
countdown. It's the final countdown.
It's the
Final
fun.
countdown. So let me actually
Yeah.
put that comment and let's put that user in a timeout for saying that.
Oh,
He needs a time or not.
I'll leave.
We'll leave him alone. We'll leave him alone. And we have another
Who is that
comment.
guy? I don't even know who it is.
That's Peter.
You know what? You know what?
No.
He needs it.
Oh,
He
he's a
needs
little OT tonight. He's a little OT.
No.
Put user in time out.
Oh no!
JK, this user
He's in a
Nick's
time.
really bad
I
about
mean,
it.
it's
What?
okay.
Wait,
I
what?
don't like to pass, Gavin, but
Yes, sir. You don't know to pass.
bad things and good things, you and Nick. But it's fun to play if you guys
You know
can.
what? For him, we will undo the timeout.
What do you think is your 5th best quarterback, Jacob?
My 5th best quarterback.
And for fantasy.
Probably Deshaun Watson or Dak Prescott. Like, but need that 4 or 5.
Then who's your 1, 2, 3? Do you agree with my 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, I do. I think Mahomes, Lamar,
You know what's
Russell
crazy
Wilson.
to me? That Russell Wilson has never received an MVP vote. That is crazy
Yeah,
to me.
that-
that
really is crazy to
That's
me.
very crazy.
Very interesting. So
First-
let's go on to the next
No,
category for 5th.
just going off that, I know Dak had a great year and all that, but I feel like Russell Wilson will be higher than Dak Prescott.
Oh, he will. He will.
Oh yeah. Wilson's
sure,
ahead.
for
sure.
Yeah.
Jacob, we have bad news a little bit. One of our guests, their 6th segment, 9-10. One of them will be there, just so you know. Okay. George. Okay.
We're fine with that.
Okay.
We'll
You'll
be
be
Sounds
fine on
there.
that? Okay, I'm just making sure. And I'm very confident with this 5 list.
Yes,
Who would
let's
be
go
your
to.
Who would be your 6? Watson, maybe? You get off that?
hmm
Arguably say Watson.
Yeah, you could say Watson too.
But for some reason, I feel like Watson will go higher than Murray, but that's a mistake.
I mean, listen, Deshaun Watson has been dominant these past 2 years. He's been very good.
But after losing Hopkins,
Yeah,
That-
losing
that is
Hopkins
true.
was big.
But I still trust
Who's your
Deshaun
receiver?
Watson.
who's
Huh?
our receivers?
They're not very good on receiver. They have Kenny
Yeah,
Stills. They have Brandon Cooks. They're not very good with receivers. They do have David Johnson, which he's overrated, overpaid, but that's an argument for a different day. I just think that Deshaun Watson will play to the best of his ability.
And you have Bill O'Brien coaching you. That's another.
He should have been fired at halftime. In that divisional round game.
And
At
JJ Watt, you should be fine, right?
Oh, JJ Watt's fine. He's fine.
And that's
He's older
news
this
to the
season.
Texans. I still don't think maybe wild card. I'm not giving them division.
No, not division.
Yeah.
I give him wild card.
Going back on the Titans, we're going to talk more about that with Clowney coming up.
Yeah.
Talk about
Very good conversation with that.
fantasy football top 5 wide receivers. Justin, you could start with your number 1.
Number 1, I got Michael Thomas. When you have Drew Brees passing you the ball, you're going to be number 1 receiver almost all the time. And of course, he has Alvin Kamara there, Jared Cook.
A lot of weapons there
A
too.
lot of weapons. I still think Michael Thomas is going to have a fantastic year. Number 2, if this guy's healthy, he's a top 2 receiver. Devontae Adams, give me. You have Aaron Rodgers throwing you the ball. I would take Devontae Adams over Julio Jones, 100%, because Julio Jones has more
Yeah.
targets. And
That's true.
said Julio's a top receiver. He's been like top 5, top 3. He has never been top 2, really, in the past couple of years. And he's got hurt a lot.
I have to agree with that.
Yeah.
And my 3rd is Julio Jones. Julio's a beast, and he has Matt Ryan, and he just signed Todd Gurley. And who else do they have at receivers? Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, they have Calvin Ridley as well.
Calvin Ridley.
And they got someone else. That's another thing with Julio. I feel like they have more weapons, the Falcons, so he's not going to get targeted more compared to Devontae Adams. And
Yeah,
my
that's fair. That's fair.
Tyreek Hill, when you have Patrick Mahomes throwing you the ball and you're his number 1 receiver, fastest receiver in the league, he did great last year. I wasn't
He did
expecting
do very well last year.
Matt, you took him in the 2nd round. That was first round. That was the second round. That was the
My fantasy team.
fifth. I know DeAndre Hopkins is not going to get that many receptions because of Christian Kirk and Fitzgerald, but you have to give me DeAndre.
Thank you. I was gonna have to argue with a little
Because
bit there.
Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, I don't think so. Juju, even with Big Ben, after last year, that was disappointing. Kenny
Listen,
Galladay,
Juju fell off a little bit last year. I think he's gonna have a rebound season this year. He's probably gonna be top 10, but not top 5 this year.
what was I gonna say? Who was it? Kenny Galladay and who's the other receiver there?
At the
Detroit?
Lions,
Yeah,
Jones.
Jones. Yeah, that's
Oh, yeah,
what
Marvin Jones Jr.
that's why I feel like Devontae Adams is gonna have. Who else do they have really? Realistically, the Packers. That's why I feel like
Not they have Aaron
Nobody.
Jones. Working
he doesn't
back.
get hurt. He's gonna be fine. Adams, I would take.
I have to agree with that.
Do you just
Yeah.
what's your top 5, Nick?
I got Michael Thomas.
Right.
Then I got Julio Jones.
Okay.
And then I got Devontae Adams. Then I got DeAndre Hopkins, and then I got Tyreek Hill.
All right. I like that list as well.
What do you think, Jake?
I'm gonna have to say Tyreek Hill is the top. I'm not naming in order. I gotta say DeAndre Hopkins. I gotta say Michael Thomas.
No, we have to go in order of debating, Jacob.
Oh, so number 1, I guess we'll say Michael Thomas. 2, we'll go DeAndre Hopkins.
I know. Who's your 3, 4, and 5?
Number 3.
Probably
what,
Tyreek
Jacob?
Hill is
Okay.
a top
Number
one.
4?
Number 4. I guess Devontae Adams is pretty good. He's
Pretty good. He's
Very
great.
good.
He's-
very good. And the last one, who did I have? There's one very good one. I forgot.
Julio Jones. Have you ever heard of him?
I've heard of Julio Jones. Julio Jones is all right in fantasy.
Oh,
Not top 5. That's a disgrace right there. That's a disgrace right
Mike
there.
Evans, number 5.
Oh, Mike
Yeah.
Evans.
He wasn't even prepared for this segment.
No, I was
So why are you not giving?
Mike Evans. Okay, that's the 5.
Okay.
6 is Julio.
Why is Mike Evans better than Julio Jones?
He's not.
Well, the position Mike Evans is in now, I think they're honestly close to equivalent. I'll be honest there. I just think it depends. Julio Jones clearly over the past few years has not been able to produce in the red zone. You can't
Well,
argue with
That's not
that.
his fault. Though.
Mike
That's not
Evans-
his fault.
I agree, but still, that's in fantasy.
Mike
That's how you get
Evans-
points.
Mike Evans, he had Jameis. Now he's a whole new quarterback to Brady, and he only likes long balls, and he sometimes has 0 reception games, which is hard in fantasy.
That is hard.
Well, if you're looking at it, yeah, I guess it really depends.
And
It's
DeAndre
close.
Hopkins was great on the Texans with Deshaun Watson, but now he's Kyler Murray a little bit lower down.
I mean, Kyler Murray is young, so it's kind of to be
It's
seen
tough.
how he's going to do. So,
I feel like he'll be fine, but he's not top 2. I want to take him second receiver.
yeah,
I would take
I rank him top 5.
Devontae Adams by yourself. Use him. Use Devontae Adams. He wasn't good last year because he got hurt and Jimmy Graham was there.
I mean, Devontae Adams did have a pretty good season last year.
But he was hurt.
Let's be honest.
As
He
well.
was hurt for a little bit. He was.
But he wasn't a top 2 receiver last year. No. Who's
Not top 2.
who
Huh?
was it? Like it was like Tyreek Hill and Chris Godwin, something like that.
Something like that. Chris Godwin did have a very good fantasy season last year.
But here's what I think: there's gonna be like one sleeper in the top 10 that's gonna pull up. That's why I feel like with my quarterbacks, I feel like Kyler Murray will pop up like that.
Yeah, I have to agree.
I
with
think
that.
he'll have a really good
What
season
do you
too.
think, Matthew? Off this.
So for top 5 wide receivers, I got Michael Thomas at 1. I have to go with Tyreek Hill at 2. Tyreek Hill has Patty Mahomes. He's very good.
We have the weapons of Kelsey. That's why I just.
It's true, but he still gets all those deep balls, and I like him as a receiver. Number 3, Julio. Number 4, Devontae Adams, and number 5 is going DeAndre Hopkins.
When was Julio top 2?
I didn't say Julio was top 2, top 3.
When was
He
he
put in 3.
top 2, 3? What was he last year in the past couple of years? Like 7, 8.
Listen, he might have been 7, 8.
That's why
I still trust Julio. Julio's just too dominant of a receiver for me to not rank him in the top 5.
because Jacob has a point off Julio of not being top 5. Like
He has a point, but I still
Mike Evans. You can't compare Mike Evans to Julio Jones off this.
No,
Julio Jones is still top 5.
it's tough. It's tough.
Nick, this was a great segment we had this time with you, bro.
Great segment.
Very good.
Little
Now
fantasy
we got
we had in here.
our best guest, the Knicks fan coming. Third stream.
And
Knicks fan
Nick,
is coming.
enjoy the rest of the show on YouTube.
Did you like
Yeah,
it?
very much.
Enjoyed it so far?
Yes, of course.
It's been
Thank
great.
you. Jets Nation.
Justin,
No.
look who's in the chat.
See ya.
Who's in the chat?
Hector.
Oh, what's up, Hector? I've been waiting. Would you like to be a guest upcoming in a couple of minutes?
Oh, in a couple of minutes. Really?
A couple minutos.
Oh, and the Yankees score is still the same. 5-1
5-1.
Yankees.
I'll be back in 1 second. I gotta run out to just check something. As in the meantime, before we're waiting for our
We're gonna-
guest,
You want to wait for a guest?
Montez Harrell will miss opening night. How will it affect the Clippers? Matt, you can start. I'll be back in a minute.
Michael, if you have a chance, would you like to come and join us maybe for the segment? You have a chance if you're up for it.
Just
Well,
finished
you
soccer
just-
practice. He just said just finished soccer practice.
If you can. You know what I mean? Enjoy your soccer. Enjoy watching. I'm having a blast.
It's very good to see you in the stream, Michael. Very good to see you here. But not having Montrezl Harrell and not having Lou Williams will definitely affect. It will affect the Clippers opening night. I mean, it still might not affect them that much because they do have their top tier talents. But it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to be. I guess Justin.
Yes, I feel like compared to the Lakers, no offense to the Lakers, I feel like the Clippers will still win it. They have so many other scorers. Their defense is still great. Like even if they were with those two, they would win by 10 plus. Now it's gonna be kind of close off that. That's my opinion off of it.
I mean, it's true. It's true that the Lakers, not the Lakers. I mean, the
And you
Clippers
missed the backcourt, which is gonna suck, bro.
It is true. It's true. But I still have the Lakers winning opening night. That's just me.
I just don't see it. Kawhi and Paul George are two dominant, three indeed scorers, in my opinion.
I'm not arguing with that. They are very good. You're right.
You
But
say LeBron and AD and Kuzma have carried them.
it's very true. I just have the Lakers winning opening night.
I agree with you, Jared. You said Clippers over Lakers. Add Jared in here. We'll talk about the Clippers Lakers as
Okay,
well.
we'll talk about the Clippers Lakers. Here he is, everyone.
The biggest
Hello,
Knicks fan.
Jared.
So
Okay, so let's talk about the segment, and we'll talk about the Clippers and Lakers.
Lakers.
We'll
Why
talk,
do you think
you want
Clippers
to talk about
win?
them now?
What's up next?
they just have a deeper roster, and their top two, and they're just I don't know, deeper roster, and yeah.
Lou
And
Will
Kawhi and PG, I just see them beating LeBron and AD.
even without
Like
Lou
the
and
benches is what does it for me.
I
Yeah,
clearly
even though they'll be without Lou Williams and Harrell, like still like Lakers benches like Deion Waiters and Dwight Howard. Hell no.
Matt,
Clippers,
you have to agree with that.
even without their two best bench guys,
Scrubs.
Clippers still have
Reggie
Reggie Jackson. Yeah,
And
Reggie
Zubac.
Jackson and
And Zubac.
Zubac would start.
I mean, I'm not saying they can't win. I'm just saying I don't know. It's gonna be a tough matchup.
And they have Larry Shamet.
Not too. It's
Oh,
gonna,
yeah.
it's gonna be interesting.
This is gonna prove my point why Kawhi is arguably the best player in the league right now.
We'll have to see about that.
No, we're not debating about this
I
now.
agree with you.
But
With
that's
that,
proving
Justin.
my
I think
point.
Kawhi. It's a very arguable, but I think Kawhi could be is number one.
I could see that how that proves my point off that.
If he wins a third ring with the Clippers this
He won
season,
3 rings
then
with
he'll be number one in the league.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Well, you put
Most
an
of the rings, I
asterisk.
think that
That's what we have to discover with the asterisks and
that's
all
what they'll
that.
think. That's what most people will think. Like that'll really help his legacy.
It's not a bad center, Joakim Noah. For
It's
you,
not.
Nick.
Oh yeah, it's just not. I don't talk about Joakim Noah.
Yep.
Bad memories
So-
there. Hell no.
We're gonna be talking about that with Thibodeau. I'll go back into that.
Oh, it's gonna be
Yeah.
great.
Oh my God.
How will the Pacers be affected by the absence of Sabonis? Jared, you could start.
It's really gonna have a huge impact because he's probably he's probably the top two option. Like, yeah, he's probably the second best player behind Oladipo. And this year he's probably the number one option because Oladipo was injured for the majority of the season. So it'll have a huge impact. Like, then they're starting power forward. I don't know who they're gonna start power forward now. Like, that's obviously gonna be worse. And like, then the backup power forward's gonna be worse. Like, it's not gonna be a good effect. I mean, they still have Brogdon. I think Oladipo's gonna be in the restart. And am I correct on that?
Yeah, Oladipo will be there.
And they still got Miles Turner at center. So I mean, they still got some pieces around the bonus, but he's definitely a huge part of their success. So it'll affect them.
You could start
like a lot.
Dougie Buckets. You could possibly start Dougie Buckets and start Holiday.
McDermott power forward. I'm not.
I mean, McDermott at power forward. It's a very big mismatch up.
Yeah,
very
like
big.
imagine
And who else
Doug
would they start
McDermott
at the four, Matt?
guarding Anthony
What'd you say?
Davis or
Who else would they
like
start at the 4?
I don't know who else they started the 4. I'm just saying Doug McDermott at the 4. It's just I don't know about that.
yeah.
If you're playing like, then who else, Matthew?
I don't know. I don't really have another player. I'm just saying. Sorry, Doug.
Holiday. You could run Holiday maybe, but it's gonna be small.
Justin Holiday.
Or yes, or Sam. I know what his name is. You know what his name is? Samson. They got Samson.
Carr Sampson. Hell no.
Yeah.
Bro, you can't run him at power forward.
They started last time without him when Sabonis and Turner didn't play in the scrimmage.
I don't know. I wouldn't start Jakar Sampson. I would do Justin Holiday. Probably their best option at
Justin
power
Holiday.
forward.
I could see
Jakar
that.
Sampson has the size, but I think Justin Holiday's the better player. So
You're going to run small ball. And they have a great bench. You could arguably say they have a top 10 bench.
Yeah, Aaron
TJ
Holiday starting now
yeah.
but Aaron Holiday I think is starting.
Yes. But you
So-
have Aaron Holiday.
But who's not going then if Aaron Holiday's starting?
You have Jeremy Lamb.
Oh, Jeremy Lamb's not. No, he's injured.
Ew.
Jeremy Lamb towards ACL.
Jeremy Lamb's still injured. He tore his ACL.
It's going to be a
Like
tough road. If Oladipo plays good, they'll be fine. That's just what it comes off
Yeah.
as.
If Oladipo comes back and he plays good, then I think they'll be okay.
Yeah.
This is what I think. They're going to get 4 or 5 wins without Sabonis because I was looking at their schedule before and it came out like that. But it's going to come down to the Sixers. They play once and the Heat twice. So that's 3 big games.
Yeah, that Heat Pacers game. That's pretty much even the matchups. That like they'll split those 2 games 1-1.
I can see
But-
splitting that.
Never.
Yeah, split those 2.
The Sixers game is going to be a big game.
Be a huge game.
And going off their
I
schedule,
don't see them beating the Sixers, especially with Simmons at power forward now. I feel like that new Sixers lineup is really going to help them.
Yeah, the Pacers are not in a great spot right now. I
I'm going to tell you the Pacers
Sabonis-
schedule in general. If they beat the Sixers, Sixers first game. What do you think? Loss?
I think they'll lose to the Sixers. Pacers.
Then
will.
Wizards, that's a win. Magic, that's a win. Phoenix, that's a win. Lakers,
Yeah.
that's a loss. Heat, that's a win. Rockets, possible. And then Heat again.
Possible.
4 or 5
I haven't
wins.
seen them beating the Rockets.
They run small ball too. So what's up?
Oh,
Richard? I think 4 or 5 wins. Leave it at that.
Yeah, 4 to 5. Yeah, that's fair.
That's what I could see. That's what I could see off that.
hmm That's
That's
fair.
my thing. Jacob, what do you think? Jacob.
I think for the NBA, for basketball teams, like especially with the Pacers and the 76ers, I think those 2 teams are really destined for success, but not now. I think even though the 76ers, they're spending a lot of money on these players like Tobias Harris, they're eventually Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid. I think they're good, but their coach, I think, is pretty. He might get fired if they don't.
Brett
do
Brown?
Yeah,
that.
Brett
Yeah,
Brown.
yeah,
that's-
Brett Brown's
he's
gonna
a
go.
big fan of a coach.
He's on a short leash.
I mean,
Very short
it's
leash.
pretty close between him and David Fizdale, and between the worst coaches in the league.
This goes
Yeah.
back. This really goes
And
back.
Jim Boylan.
This really goes back to
Yeah.
who you want to play in the second round because you don't want to play the Bucks in the second round if you're the 4th or 5th seed. That's like
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
Yeah, you certainly don't want to do that.
that's setting.
Yeah, I don't see any team in the East beating the Bucks. I think the Bucks are
Be
gonna win the
honest,
East.
I could see. We're gonna be talking about it later, but Giannis at center might not be a bad move. We're gonna have to talk about that later. It might
I
not
don't
be.
know about that. We'll see about that.
They were thinking about that as an X factor.
So
Maybe,
here
maybe.
we go.
Oh,
Tom Thibodeau and the Knicks are finalizing a 5-year deal that would make him the team's next head coach, according to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. According to Woj, the 2 sides are working on the terms of the contract, and a signed agreement is expected in the near future. Do you agree with the Knicks hiring Tom Thibodeau? Jared, you could start.
Yeah, I think it's a good move. He's one of the best candidates available. I would have preferred Mark Jackson or not Jason Kidd. I would have preferred Mark Jackson or Mike Woodson, but Thibodeau is a great option. He led the Timberwolves, who had a 13-year playoff drought, back to the postseason. Granted, they had Jimmy Butler and Karl-Anthony Towns, but still, he led them there, and he led the Bulls to multiple playoff appearances when they had like Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, Taj Gibson, those teams. And so I think he's got a good resume, and he's really going to push the young guys in the roster, like RJ and Mitch. I like RJ really, and Mitch, like, I feel like he's not going to play as much because I don't know, because he'll probably start Taj Gibson over him because of the connection. But he's
That's
really going to
fair.
push RJ, and he's going to help his development. And maybe he'll get somebody like
Yeah.
Kevin Knox, who's most people are labeling as a bust. Maybe like he'll get him like out of his shell and like help him develop into a better player.
Hopefully.
And
Hopefully.
yeah, and maybe same with Frank Ntilikina, help him develop some offense. Yeah, so I feel like he'll be good he'll be very beneficial for the young guys, but he might have like the same team as Mike Miller and play some bets like Taj Gibson a little too much. But we'll see. But I think it was a good move.
Jared, as a Knicks fan, how do you think Tom Thibodeau will treat Dennis Smith Jr.? What do you think about him?
Oh, I wasn't even thinking of DSJ, but I think that like Dennis Smith is like the same boat as like Knox and Ntilikina, where it's like young guys that some people are labeling as a bust that Thibodeau might like turn around their career a little bit, help them develop. It's either gonna be that, or he's just gonna like totally kick them to the curb and just like play like anybody over them and like just bench them for the entire game. It's gonna be one of those like. It's gonna be one of those things.
I do agree with that, but I feel like Tom Thibodeau, usually he's not so nice with young guys. He expects a lot of them out of them. So I feel like he needs to change his coaching style a little bit to be nicer with the young guys. Obviously, be tough on them, but he needs to like encourage them to get better, show them what they're doing wrong and stuff like that. And obviously give them the appropriate minutes and don't play them too much to where they're getting too fatigued and
Yeah,
tired.
definitely. Because what I'm nervous about with this signing is like I don't want it. Like God forbid, a gazillion times, I don't want RJ to tear his ACL like Derrick Rose
Yeah,
did.
exactly.
Like I feel like that could
Yeah.
easily. I feel like that might happen if they play if he's
Because if
over.
Thibodeau isn't smart and plays him too much, he could get injured or something like that.
Yeah.
Very
Well, I just thought of the ACL
very
tear because that was the injury that Rose had.
Yeah.
Him, so yeah.
Yeah,
And it's very
so-
common.
We have wanting a lot of money for 5 years. I personally feel like it's not going to be the best because all this RJ things going on with the time and all that. I don't think Thibodeau is the right place.
As I've said before,
unless
yeah,
you
you can keep
find
going.
Mike
He just has
Miller
to. He just
as his assistant coach with Mike Woodson. Those two were
Yeah.
experienced players, coaches.
yeah. I
If
was
you
just about to
know
say.
what-
I hope.
Fine with that signing with Thibodeau. That'd be perfect.
I feel like
Yeah, I was just
bringing in Mark Jackson's assistant coach would be a bad idea because multiple Warriors players throughout their dynasty that were on that team with Mark Jackson have said that Mark Jackson was a key reason for why they were able to be as successful as they were. Mark Jackson pushed them to be better players, and that ended up helping them in the long run. Obviously, Mark Jackson didn't coach them to those championships, but he certainly did help them.
You
He
could argue
created a nice foundation for them.
Yeah, exactly.
with Jason Kidd of the Nets Foundation as well, with all the things he did when he was the coach for the Nets 5-6 years ago.
I guess that's true.
And maybe he could lure Giannis or some Bucks players or players that he played with on the Nets to come here. Maybe that's another way of that happening, which I'll be excited for. And the other thing is, if they get Mike Miller, Woodson, I feel like it would be a good sign, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
when was the last time a coach stayed on the Knicks for 5 years?
Not for a while.
This whole last decade, there hasn't been one probably.
Yeah, no.
Maybe Mike Woodson. Although I'm not sure.
No, Mike Woodson wasn't 5 years.
No.
Like I've
He
said this
wasn't with us for
before.
5 years. No.
No. How many years was he on the Timberwolves tour? Thibodeau.
Two or
Oh,
three.
Yeah. It didn't
When-
last long.
how
He was
much-
with the Bulls for longer.
How
I
much
think it was
success?
2 years with. It was 2 years in Minnesota.
How much success did they have in Minnesota?
One playoff
One
run
playoff
that resulted
appearance.
in nothing.
Yeah,
Did
they beat out the Nuggets by 1 game for the 8th seed,
Did they
and
have
then
a
they
better
got
team?
swept.
What were you saying? Yeah.
They beat out the Nuggets
I mean-
by 1 game for the 8th seed, and then just got swept. So
And he got Jimmy Butler hurt.
That does go back to Jimmy Butler's injury. They were a 3 seed before Jimmy Butler got injured, so that does have to take that into account.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And to be honest, with all this, I don't think Thibodeau's a top coach right now with that because
yeah,
it's
like
Not at all.
yeah.
Not at all.
not work
Mhm.
in Minnesota, and they had a better team and some
Yeah.
good younger players. The Knicks,
Like
Yeah.
I've said this before.
Jackson.
Mhm.
He's not a good coach for the Knicks because
Yeah,
they needed a younger coach, someone more young and more.
Jacob.
more
That's
Wait,
why I argued
yeah, 'cause-
Kenny Atkinson.
'cause
Kenny Atkinson.
Atkinson, Woodson. I would even take
or
Jason.
if I would
yeah,
say if
Jason
we
Kidd
kept
would
Mike
have been
Miller,
fine.
And
Mike
one
Miller
second,
would be good too.
Peter just said I just finished soccer as well. Nice.
All right.
Nice, dude.
You're a little OOT, but what were you saying, Jacob?
Yeah, I think a younger coach would be better than Tom Thibodeau. I'll be honest, a younger coach would have been better.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
let's move on to the next question. Just take
Uh-oh.
this off.
We'll see. I mean, with Thibodeau, I mean, it's so hard to tell, but what you guys are saying about like he's not a good fit with the Knicks, I partially agree that there's a chance that he could change his coaching style to fit the team. But based on what we saw in Minnesota and Chicago, he does well with more experienced veteran teams. But yeah, I'm generally on board with it. I mean, anybody's better than Fizdale, so I'm generally on board with it.
Even Mike Miller, I don't think he could be a head coach, in my opinion.
I hope they bring back
I mean-
Mike Miller as an assistant.
Mm. He could be given a chance as head coach. How well we'll go, I have no idea.
I don't think if this year's team would have made the playoffs, no matter what. It was.
Oh, no way.
Right, Jared? You think maybe 9 seed? 10
What?
seed? I think. You think the
This
Knicks would
past season,
Mike Miller this whole season? Yes.
Oh,
I think it could make the playoffs.
That's
Not-
I think I might. It's partially because I'm a Knicks fan.
they're
I
not.
think
They're
they
not
could
better
make the
than.
playoffs.
They're not better than the Magic with the Nets.
Yeah, they are. We beat them this year.
Okay.
And the first time we played them, it
I'm
was
saying
very
if you
close.
beating them is different from record in general.
Exactly.
Magic are trash. They have one of the worst. They have one of the worst offenses in the
And
league.
how did they exceed?
Because they have good defense. Great defense.
Yeah, exactly.
Vucevic.
Vucevic and Jonathan Isaac is like their
Who's
whole
better
team.
than the Knicks compared to
And
Vucevic?
Gordon.
Okay.
Is you're asking me who on the Knicks is better than Nikola Vucevic?
Hmm.
Obviously nobody. And Vucevic was an all-star last year.
Jared, you want to do the 5 point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward?
Sure. All right, let's do it. Point guard, Alfred Payton. Who's their point guard? Marco Fultz. That's close. But
Fournier's a
I give it
shooting
to
guard.
Fultz.
Fournier's a
Shooting
shooting
guard,
guard.
RJ versus Evan Fournier. Obviously, RJ is better.
I don't know
Small
about that.
forward,
I don't know
Hawkins
about
versus Jonathan Isaac. Obviously, I'd give it to Jonathan Isaac.
Jonathan Isaac.
Power forward, Julius Randle and Aaron Gordon.
Aaron Gordon.
Julius Randle.
Whoa!
What?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that, Jared.
Julius
That
Randle.
can go either way.
Julius Randle's good if he's the third or fourth option. I told you this 1,000 times.
Yeah. All
First
right, fine. Fair. Yeah, third option.
Aaron Gordon
If Randall's the
works
third option, then we're good. But all right. So since he's the first, then no. And center, Taj Gibson versus Nikola Vucevic. Obviously, Vucevic.
Or you
I
could
mean, it
even
would be
give,
Mitch, but
or you could even give Randle's better than Aaron Gordon. It's still free too, if you want to go by that.
yeah. All right, fair. The Magic aren't the best team, though. I'll tell you that right now. They're not
What
good.
What do you think, Matt? Off that,
Listen, I have to say the Magic are a better team. That's just in my opinion. The Magic are a better team.
I mean, I can't believe we're debating if the Magic is better than the Knicks right now.
I
but
mean,
yeah.
Steve Clifford, he's a very good coach for the Magic. He's been coaching.
He
very
works
good
for them,
defense
but
down
I
there.
don't think he's a good coach.
bold prediction: next year, the Knicks will be a better team than the Magic.
No shit.
Oh, no.
I agree
agree.
with that one.
I have to say Knicks are gonna be better.
Listen, it's all going to depend on how
This
well.
might be a little
2
biased.
years ago, the Magic won 21 games. So
That's
I mean,
true.
I
mean,
I
it
don't
all-
know
it all
21, like
it
most
all
20.
It all depends on how well Tom Thibodeau can coach. If he can't coach well, nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing.
Yeah.
because
Bias.
we have the
It's
pieces.
a little
We have the
feminine.
pieces, but it's like the coach plays such a vital role in the team. Like because like the Knicks had the pieces at like the beginning of this season. Like the Knicks, like if we didn't have Rizzo, we would have started off much better than 2-8. I'm just telling you in our first 10. We would
Yeah,
have
I-
been
I-
2-8.
I-
maybe 4-6 or 3. Maybe 4-6 or 5-5, but not 3, not 2-8.
Jared, we know you like Potato Head Fizdale a lot. We know you like him a lot.
You have the image of it. He was laughing.
Yeah. So
I'm so
Do
bad
you
for Philadelphia.
yeah.
Let's see the next question.
Do
Yeah,
you
next
think
question.
Giannis can play center for the Bucks? I'm gonna start this one with you, Matt.
I didn't. I mean, listen. I feel like they could run Giannis at center. It would be very interesting lineup to see how that would work at center. I'm not saying they can't, but I would be interested to see how it would work in an actual game.
Compared to the Celtics roster, I could see it because they don't really have.
I
mean,
don't see it.
They have
I
Enes
don't see
Kanter.
it. He's
So
too
I tell you what, I
small.
was thinking off this Bledsoe, you have as your point guard.
Okay,
Shooting guard, you have Dante Davino.
Dante DiVincenzo.
DiVincenzo.
Oh, my bad. I
And then Chris Middleton, a power forward. No, sorry, small forward. Brook
Wesley
Lopez, a power. Wesley Matthews, a small forward.
Yes, power forward, Chris Middleton, center, Giannis.
Okay, so then you have
Hold
Brook
on.
Lopez coming off of the bench to the sixth man.
With the Lopez brothers. Yeah, the Lopez brothers off the bench.
Okay.
With Kyle Korver, Pat Covington, and George Hill. I see that's fine.
I mean, that's not a bad other rotation, but I don't know. I don't see that because I feel
I
like
don't
the
think it would
Bucks,
work.
the Bucks like Brook Lopez's defense in the starting lineup, so I don't know if that would work.
Yeah.
That's
Brook
just my
Lopez
opinion.
is a very underrated center. He can play D and stretch the floor. And
He's
then
a
you
very-
can't
he's
have
a
that on
very
the
good
bench. You
defender.
need that in the starting 5.
Yeah, he's a very good defensive center. Even though he hasn't been shooting well this year, he's still a very good defensive center.
And he's still shooting threes though. Like he's still
Yeah, no, he's
pretty
still
good from
shooting
three.
threes. He just hasn't been a good percentage this year, which I think he could
Yeah, makes
rebound.
sense.
He could certainly rebound to get his percentages
Oh
up.
yeah, definitely.
This is what I'm thinking. I just got a notification about Patrick Mahomes being the 4th best on the top 100. What's your thoughts on that? Patrick Mahomes
Fourth
being the 4th
best.
on the top 100.
Really?
Who's 3-2-1?
I don't know.
They didn't announce it yet.
They might have. Look that up.
That's
Go back to Giannis. Who plays small ball in the Eastern Conference, Jared? Besides, you could say besides the
I don't
Bucks.
know.
That's what's besides the Celtics.
Knicks, but like they're not in the bubble. Like it's kind of like they play Taj Gibson at center. That's kind of small ball.
Yeah, Taj Gibson. That's what I feel like. Taj Gibson, Joakim Noah, Derrick Rose, Luol Deng call it to the Knicks. It's possible.
Fucking
Michael Thomas with 5 and Patrick Mahomes with 4.
Wait,
We
let
don't
me think. Who does play small ball in the East that's in the bubble?
I see I think the Celtics play because Gordon Hayward at the 4. And
Celtics
how-
do small ball? Yeah, definitely.
Yo, chill. How tall is
Yeah.
Daniel Tice? He is.
Tice,
tall-
he's not that tall.
That's what I was saying off that.
6'11", 6'10",
That's what I was saying off that.
I would think. He's not that big of a center. Like, yeah. So yeah, Celtics. do
He's
small
just gonna
ball,
be running
I'd say.
small ball too. Without
Huh? What'd you
Pacers
say?
are running small ball. Pacers are running small
Yeah, I
ball.
was thinking that too. Indiana too.
They kind of they're going to be
Bonus.
forced into it.
Yeah, that's
so
what
Indiana and Boston, but I think that
Then you
like
could say the
a
Nets.
player like Brook Lopez. I mean, I'm not saying he's like amazing or anything, but you can't have him off the bench if he's gonna
Not at all.
if he's gonna stretch the floor and play D. Like, you can't have that off the bench. Like, especially for like you're like messing up everybody's like national positions. Like Wesley Matthews, naturally a shooting guard. Chris Middleton, naturally a small forward. Giannis, naturally a power forward. Like, Giannis can't play
You could
center.
run
Like,
Kyle Korver at the 3, 6'7".
run who with the 3?
Kyle Korver.
I'm not a big fan of that either.
Hi, everyone.
And you're starting 5. Like, Kyle Korver is way too old to be in your starting 5. Like,
I'm saying off the bench.
a few years ago when he was on the Cavs, he was not in their starting 5. Like, then that
Off the
champion
bench,
and that LeBron
I-
roster that
Wesley
got to the
Matthews
finals. They were not. He was not in the starting 5. I'll tell you that.
I
right
would throw
now.
Wesley Matthews over Kyle Korver. In my opinion, yes.
I don't know.
Yeah,
You're just messing
maybe.
with position with that, and it's like,
Yeah.
you can't have Giannis at center. It's like he's not like bulky enough. Like what happens when he has to challenge like a
Listen,
big
Giannis
center, like
is
Steven
probably-
Adams.
Oh,
Yeah,
when
like-
Steven Adams in a different conference. I'm saying when he has to go up against Joel Embiid,
Yeah,
put Brook
Embiid
Lopez
and
Lopez.
Serge Ibaka, like those are big guys that
You
are
put-
more
so-
bulky than like.
so-
I'll put Brook in
Is
there.
your argument that it's very matchup dependent
Yeah,
who they're
matchup
versing?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And plus, with Middleton, a power forward versus Ben Simmons, like that's not
That's
not
how
gonna work.
It's very matchup dependent. They have to go.
I'm telling you, Pacers. You could even say the Magic. You could even say the Nets, and you could even say, what was that team I was just talking about? Not the Pacers, the Celtics. It's all the teams. I can see them.
Nets don't really go small ball because their center's like Jared Allen.
But I could see if the Nets Giannis destroying Jared Allen.
Mm.
That's just my opinion off of it.
I don't know.
Nets-
I just don't see Giannis at
so
center
I feel
being
like
a
it's
thing.
better to go small ball off of it. That's just my view on that.
Yeah, no, I have to agree with you there, Justin.
With the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah.
Do we have another
I just
backup
don't see it.
question, or will we
No,
get
we don't. We're waiting for our next guest who was on
All
a
right,
minute
that was a
ago.
great talk, Jared.
But right now,
Yep.
thanks, Jared, for
Peace.
joining us. Thank you
you
very
very
much.
much, Jared.
Yeah.
But we have some breaking news, guys.
What's up? What's the breaking news, Jacob?
Hold up. TJ LeMahieu singles in the 6th. Yankees are winning 6-1. That's not the breaking news, though. The breaking news that the Second Take, Your Take, the exclusive interviews are coming soon.
Really?
We'll have them live,
Oh, the best.
right?
Great.
Do
to
it
hear.
live.
You're going live every week?
No, we'll do exclusive interviews, the one-on-one interviews. We'll start those maybe this next week. Maybe we'll announce.
What are we
next-
going to talk about? Just like any.
Well, it's a one-on-one interview,
All right.
so it's just a talk about
Are you going to be
everything.
interviewing them?
What?
Are you going to be interviewing them?
I could, you could, Matt could.
Okay.
It doesn't really matter, honestly.
And we'll have like one person each week, whatever.
Alright.
Go from there.
Yeah, every other week. Honestly,
Is
we
that-
could do whatever we want.
Be a schedule video.
I don't know. We'll see.
That's a good newsbreaker, like a camper bomb.
I
Yeah,
can't
camper.
You just got
well,
kicked.
well said. And everyone, make sure you
Like
follow the
camper
Second
bomb.
Take on Instagram and
like-
Twitter at the Second
like the-
Take too.
Please like, guys. You will get all the information that you need.
And
there.
this show will be on podcasts.
Oh,
probably
and
tomorrow.
follow Flutter to 67890. By the way.
Yes, and follow that on YouTube too.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Okay, so let's welcome our next guest here to the screen. Oh, Yankees are winning 7-1 now.
Ooh.
Nice, nice.
Oh,
He's out at
we,
se-
we
oh.
got we got Matthew saying, how will JR adjust to the Lakers past and even JR not starting? You got that?
How will Jared adjust the Lakers? I mean, listen, I think Jared's gonna have to accept his role. He's gonna have to say to himself that, okay, I'm a bench player now. He basically has to play good defense and chuck up threes.
5 to 10, 12.
Here he is. How are you, George?
Okay, so here we go. The Major League MLB postseason will be expanded from 10 to 16 playoff teams in 2020. Every first and second place team in Major League Baseball will make the playoffs in 2020. The 2 teams in each league will be the best with the best record outside of the 6 that make it will be in the playoffs. Seeds 1 to 3 go to the division winners based on record. Seeds 4 and 6 will go to the runners-up based on record. Seeds 7 and 8 will be based on record. Thus, there's a possibility that
Taking a little bit there. Wow.
really, I didn't realize. The new playoff format will feature a best of 3 wild card, which I do not like. Instead, the first round sudden death wild card game. The higher seeded team will host all 3 games in the wild card series, and the winners will advance to the best of 5 division series, and then the traditional best of 7 championship and World Series. So, speaking of this,
Wait, before we say this, the chat said, Nick said, do you guys know the top 5 for the NFL?
no.
No, we've only heard Mahomes is 4, and that's Mike.
That makes no sense, by the way.
Now it's now reported that Aaron Donald is number 3.
Wow.
I think the last 2 left is Lamar and Russell Wilson.
Really?
I think
So they put 2 quarterbacks over Mahomes.
you could argue Lamar. I don't know about Wilson.
We'll do that next week.
We'll argue about the top. Oh, we're gonna be talking about Dak upcoming, but
Oh
Yes.
boy, Dak
So,
coming.
how smart is it for the MLB to expand the playoffs, George?
I mean, as a fan, from a fan's perspective, I mean, we get to watch, 6 more teams in the playoffs. All those fan bases that they like the mediocre teams and they're fighting for the last wild card spots. Now they get a chance to actually play for once. But it all comes down to just making money for the owners. Like that's the only reason behind this. They're gonna make an extra. I forget the number. It was
I have the number right here, guaranteeing a 50 million player pool.
wow.
whatever it is.
Wow.
That's the sole purpose. This is not gonna continue for years to come. It's just for this year, and making up lost revenue throughout the regular season. I mean, it's gonna. I don't really mind it, to be honest. The Yankees are already gonna make it no matter what. I'm not worried about that. I mean, if you're a Mets fan out there, you're probably still gonna miss it anyway. So you got some things to worry about. Honestly, I'm cool with watching more baseball. Just this can't go on past this year. I don't want to see it for years after.
Yeah.
Do you like the new rule? Like if it's extra innings, the guys at second base?
I mean, I don't like it long term. For this year, I feel like it's a good chance to try it. I don't like it long term. Not at all.
I just feel like the game goes way too fast. 1-2 innings and it's over.
It's not going to be a long term thing. It's just for this year to speed up the game because they play
Yeah.
a lot. And
They're just trying to just increase pace of play this year.
But I feel like it's gonna be interesting for other 6 other teams to hopefully make.
yeah, but just as being a Yankees fan, I think it's concerning that the first round they could be done. They could be done because it's a 3-game series, and not every team always has their best 8. They're always on their A game for any series.
2 to 3. That's
Yeah,
why
so 2 out of 3. So if you win the first game, then it could be easy and it could be hard. So
Yeah.
for the better, it hurts the better teams more than it hurts them more than it helps them
Oh yeah.
because you'd rather have the bye. So, but I think for the
home team,
league,
whoever's the better team gets home field advantage. The whole.
for the whole 3 games.
Yeah,
so
but home field advantage really doesn't matter this year.
well, there might be fans in October. You don't really know.
I doubt that.
We got some
No
comments
chance.
coming from here. Nick said, "How dare you? The Mets will make it." And Nick said it'll speed up the game. Rishi said, "What's good with the Cleveland Indians and best team in the league?" he said.
Best team. I don't know about that.
No, they're not the
You think
best in the
they'll make
league. I think the Cleveland Indians will make it.
They'll make it to the playoffs, but they're not that good, though.
Their team is not bad. So that's it for that. So
Then
we're
we'll get
waiting
Rick
for
on.
yeah.
Do you have Rishi if you're in there? Come on. And George, you have anything to say about the baseball? Otherwise,
There's nothing else to add on. They just want money. Point
Pretty
blank.
much, yeah.
do you
Good play,
think
Aaron Hicks.
the
Just
Yankees
now.
will make it to the playoffs if there is? Yes, 100% the Yankees will make it.
Of course. I think the Yankees.
Yeah,
no
they're
doubt.
yeah.
What do you think the scores right now? What's
Of which one?
It's currently 7-1.
It's 7-1
Bottom
right
of
now.
6, 1 out.
how's Cole doing?
He's doing very good.
Very well. Very well. He only let up 1 hit so far.
He's 2 walks. Last time I checked, like 5 strikeouts. So
1 hit so far.
that's good. And let's add our new guest and let's talk about Dak Prescott's rating in the top 100 list. So let's add our guest,
What's good? What's good?
Looks good.
What up,
and then
bro?
let's talk about where is it? Oh, it's right here. Beautiful. Do you agree with Dak Prescott's ranking in the NFL top 100 list. He was ranked 46 in the top 100 list. Whoever wants to start, they can go.
I'll 100% start this. I have everything planned out and everything. I would take Zaire Smith on the – I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but on the Packers. He played
Ladarius.
13 and a half sacks. Solo tackles, he had 41. He made the Pro Bowl. Forced fumble. Tackles for loss in general. I feel confident with starting him. Kirk Cousins led his team to a winning record and beat the Saints. Why is he not above him? Ryan Tannehill, same thing. With 12 games, he brought the Titans to the playoffs.
Jim Cam.
Patriots and Ravens. And when was the last year? Dak was 10-6, and he made the Pro Bowl, and he wasn't in the top 100. And this year he is. Kind of interesting like that.
I think Dak's rating is fair. I think
Maybe
he should be more like in the mid 50s, but I feel like in that like mid 50s, low 40s range or high 40s range, I feel like it's fair for Dak to be there. I don't think you should slide down that much. I think you slide down a little bit, but not that much.
That's what I say off that. Jacob, what do you think?
I think Dak Prescott has the rating. I guess it's good for him. I don't think you could really argue for it to be any worse because he's clearly last season he had a very good year. People don't really realize that he had a great year, very very good year. So that's really it. I think his rating is fine.
I mean, if Dak Prescott's 46, then Carson Wentz should be in the top 100 easily. But
100%.
he's not even in the top 100. Carson Wentz, not in the top 100.
That's a disgrace.
Crazy.
But no, it's,
Oh, let me ask something real
Not
quick.
even the 90s.
Hold on. I was reading through the list, and they had Garoppolo at 43, which for Garoppolo to be 43, not only ahead of Dak, I don't have a problem with Dak being at 46, but Garoppolo is not better than Dak, and Carson Wentz is not 50 spots worse than Dak in the top 100. But the list is always so confusing every year because you never know if it's based off the previous year or if it's like predicting like the upcoming season or if it's taking into account like players' whole careers. Like Saquon missed like 3 games. He was still well in the top 30 or top 40, whatever it was. Todd Gurley was still made the list. Like all that makes no sense. That's why these lists I never take them seriously.
I have to agree with George on that one. It might be by the players, but I don't know. It's just, I think it's a little bit flawed each year. There are certain players that should be a lot higher, certain players should be a lot lower, certain players aren't on the list that really should be on the list. It's somewhat flawed each year.
And you could also argue Buckner and Todd Gurley. Even though Todd Gurley didn't have a better year than the other years, he should still be in there. And Buckner had a great year with the 49ers, led them to the Super Bowl.
He did have a good year.
yeah. So let's shift the next question to one of Jimmy Garoppolo's teammates, Joey Bosa.
What?
Nah, it's false.
Oh, sorry, Nick Bosa. I'm thinking of that.
Oh, no.
Joey Bosa's on the
Oh my,
short.
yes, I realized that. I messed it up. I was trying to. Yeah,
Segue.
That is false.
Joey Bosa. Well, I'm sure Nick Bosa actually is going to end up making more money than him anyway. Just to put it that way.
We'll have to see.
Obviously, he will.
I don't know about obvious.
That's defensive end, maybe second. It's not toply up there.
Yeah, they're both very very good. So they're Joey Bosa's extension on the Chargers, 5
Bro,
years.
just take that hat off, honestly. Just take it
Where-
off.
No, it's a great. It's a very nice
Just
hat.
take it
It's
off.
a very nice hat. I think it's a great hat.
Take it off.
He
Rocking
should be
the
wearing.
We're rocking
Yeah,
Jackson.
it's a great hat.
I'm very happy. I want to talk about the Jamal trade for you, Richie, but we'll get to that maybe later. I'm very excited.
So do you think he deserves it? The money?
I would have to say yes. I feel like Joey Bosa has been a dominant force on the defensive line for years now. I feel like he definitely deserves his pay raise of getting 5 years on $35 million. I feel like he deserves it. Play up to his contract.
I think 100% he's going to play off his contract, Joey Bosa. He's arguably the best defensive end in the league. Can't even maybe Cameron Hayward, Myles Garrett, Kyle Campbell, J.J. Watt. But I would still put him up there. He deserves the money. What do you think, Rishi?
Yeah, he definitely deserves it, but he's not the top defensive end in my opinion.
Not top defensive end, but he definitely
Not
deserves the
This
contract.
year, yeah. I can't even say Garrett and J.J. Watt didn't play. Didn't play fully. I don't think so.
That is true. I have to agree with Justin there because Myles Garrett had to be a little bit of an idiot and throw his helmet at Mason Rudolph, but that's a different story.
What do you think?
Right. It doesn't matter whether he's a top defensive end or not. It's just a matter of like the timing in which he got paid. Like if Garrett was up to get paid tomorrow, he would get more than Bosa. If Nick Bosa was ready to get paid tomorrow, he would get more money than
Wait,
Bosa.
going back to this, Jamal Adams, he should be paid right now.
Who?
Not right now. He's got to prove with the Seahawks. I feel like.
Now he wants a Seahawks rookie deal. He's been a head case for the Jets.
Where did Jamal Adams come from? Like,
I
who
just
was
wanted
his
to
brother?
segue it. That's what I wanted to talk about. As being a Jet fan, it might be a little tough, but we got like 2%.
A little bit biased there. A little bit biased there on the situation.
How? I'm just saying we got great value off of it.
I'm not saying you got bad value, but it's a little bit biased.
Radio
So
Salty
now
Get it. Like,
let's talk about Nick Bosa's division, the NFC West. Who do you think is going to win this year? We clearly have, I guess we could say we have 3 contenders. Actually, all of them.
I would say
actually.
4.
Yeah, the Cardinals, the Seahawks, the 49ers, and
The
The
Rams.
Rams.
George, you want
the
to
Rams.
start?
The Rams aren't. I feel like the Rams.
They have Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald.
Eh.
So what?
You have those 2 players are contenders. But
I rank the
Still.
Rams above the
They have
Cardinals,
Super Cup too.
I don't know. I feel like it's not.
and they have Robert Woods as well.
I feel like the Rams had one good
Is it
year, but
running
I feel
back?
like we've
Is it
sort of
running
forgotten
back?
about them.
Huh?
Jacob, are you okay? One good year.
They had 2 good years.
2 good years.
2 good
Jared
years.
Goff's a lost cause because they paid him the money now. So it's not-
Nah, no, but
They
okay.
still have a winning
I
record
can make
last
the same
year.
argument. What happens if they pay Dak the money? Then he becomes a loss.
That's what happens with every team. Look at the Eagles.
So you're saying Dak's not going to win a Super Bowl?
No, I have to. Carson Wentz has been playing well. He's just been injured. I don't really think that's his fault.
I guess.
So then what was your point to Jared Goff there then?
I feel like
You're
since
saying Brady's
Jared
not
Goff's
gonna
been
play well? You're saying Brady's
since
not gonna
he's been
play
paid, they've fallen off a little.
well? Okay, George, what do you think about this? Who's going to win the NFC West?
all 4 teams are contenders. I think the Seahawks are going to win the division this year. The Niners are still a good team, but they're just due for some regression. They played a last place schedule last year, so they're playing all bottom feeder teams. They play the Redskins, they play the Lions. They're playing the bottom feeders of all divisions in the NFC. This year they're going to be playing a first place schedule. They're going to have to match up with Green Bay and Dallas and whoever the other division is I'm forgetting, but they'll still make the playoffs. They'll still be a contender to win the whole thing. And the Seahawks are going to fare much better in the regular season.
I believe this is the toughest division in the NFL, the NFC West.
Most certainly.
Here's the other thing. Jamal Adams is coming to Seattle. That's going to be a huge improvement. Their offense is fantastic. I mean, when you add Jamal Adams, I think they're definitely championship contending. The 49ers, they made a Super Bowl last year. They lost Buckner. The receivers are not that well. You can't go against making the Super Bowl off that. And the Cardinals, they're a little young, so I don't think it's going to be their year. Rams, they have so much cap with Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. I don't think they're making the wild card. I think Seattle and Niners Seattle will win the division. Wild card, you give to the Niners.
I don't disagree with that. It's
Wait, George,
really,
do you have the Cardinals making the playoffs?
do you have the Cardinals making the playoffs, Justin? Yes or no?
No, George, because he had him as a sleeper team.
I think the Cardinals got a shot to make it.
Okay, name me 3 teams in the NFC that will make it the wild card.
Talking to me?
Yes.
I'm lagging. I'm not. I can't hear you.
Hey, I'm lagging too, actually. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Between whoever doesn't win the NFC East with the Cowboys and the Eagles, they're gonna be right around the 9-7 range, fighting for that last wild card spot.
Yes.
I think the Bears are gonna have problems the whole year because they don't know what their quarterback is, and going to training camp.
The NFC North is going to come down to the Vikings and Packers. It's really whoever.
And then
can pull
Minnesota lost key players on defense, and then between Arizona, freaking the Niners and
Buccaneers.
say it again.
Saints, Buccaneers. One of them.
I don't want to hear about the Buccaneers right now. I don't want to hear about Tom Brady.
Buccaneers are definitely making the wild card.
Right.
Buccaneers are definitely making the wild card division. They're 100%.
We'll have to see about that. I
You
don't know.
can say that, but that's just your opinion. Like they're not guaranteed to make anything.
I definitely think 10-6 over 5. But when you have Brady,
Maybe.
come on.
I mean, they got a really good defense, too. I think
Come on.
They do.
This is my wild card teams. I give it to the Buccaneers or Saints, one of those. I give it to the Seahawks or 49ers, one of those. And over here, I'll give it to Cowboys or no, not Cowboys or Eagles. I'll give it to Vikings or Bears. One of those teams.
That's fair. That's fair.
I don't think whoever wins the division, the Cowboys, Eagles, I think is going in. The other team now.
Yeah.
that's
So
fair. That's fair.
So like what
Are we-
happened last year.
yeah.
But I
This
think the
past year.
Cowboys are making it and losing in the wild card.
I don't know about that. But let's talk about Jadeveon Clowney now. Which team is the best fit for Jadeveon Clowney? I'm gonna start. This is why Justin's going last because I don't. He's
Yeah,
going last.
Yeah, he's good.
As you all know, the bias based there. I think the best team for Jadeveon, it really depends at what contract he wants. If he wants a long term or a short term. I think now he's sort of stuck in the short term for a 1-year deal. I don't think he has a choice to.
He's
sign
basically
anything else.
stuck for a 1-year prove-it deal.
Yeah, he needs to. That's what happens in all the sports. But I think Jadeveon's stuck. So I think whatever team is gonna willing, I don't know how much money he's gonna get. We saw Cam Newton wanted more money, but then he got like the minimum. So I don't.
You got the
I-
minimum, but he has like $7 million in incentives.
Yeah, so I think Jadeveon Clowney. I think it's really hard to tell. I don't see him going to the Jets. I don't think that's possible. I think if that does happen, that will hurt the brains of Jets fans because that will think they
What team is he going to?
that will think that the Jets fans have that one chance to succeed, and once again they will fail again. I think I don't know. It's
Jacob,
really
Jacob, time out. Is it your year to win now?
who
The Cowboys. It's always their year, I thought.
Oh,
it is, but I don't think they don't need him. They don't need
I don't
him.
even
Why not?
find-
You don't want Mikey Linehouse?
Jordan Jenkins off the line coming up with C.J. Mosley and Avery Williams. And you got the guy from the Ravens, Patrick Armstrong.
I don't know.
I think that's a good fit.
Okay, I'm not gonna
Why?
be biased because I want him to go to the Giants. I feel like the Giants could use him, but I'm gonna say a team that's in playoff contention that could really use him, and that's the Colts.
That's a good pick right there.
If the Colts can get them, if you get him, they could be a really good playoff team for sure.
They're a playoff team right now, even with Philip Rivers. And they have a
Yeah,
great
but they could
line.
be better.
They, are.
with
They,
Jalen.
they have a chance of winning the division this year. Certain things just need to go their way as well.
To be honest, I feel like he could be going to the Titans and pick up with Vic Beasley, but Vic Beasley is a no-show, actually.
Yeah, Vic
Yeah,
was
no
himself
shit.
for cancer, so
But I feel like they had interest in him and they wanted him to go to the Titans. So maybe the Titans or the Jets will give him the money. Hopefully he'll be good. What do you think, George?
Jets.
See, if you asked me like 6 months ago when the season ended, I probably would have said Titans because I want to see him back in the division against the Texans, playing against his former team.
Yeah, that's what I said. Colts.
Even if Vic Beasley's not playing, he wasn't even slated to be a starter for them. He was going to be a backup anyway, so it's not like they need a pass rusher to replace him right away. They can make it work with the young guys they drafted, and I honestly think the Jets are going to pick him up just for 1 year, though. The Jets are going to finish last place, and he's going to leave once again, and he's going to want even more money.
What,
So you
what
got
team do you
nothing
think is the
to
best
worry
fit
about.
though?
What team do you think is the best fit?
I think the Jets are the best fit.
Thank you.
Oh
I'm
my
going to
god!
make
Why are we hurting?
explanation.
Why are we hurting our brains?
They have a great defense. Getting rid of Jalen Adams, Jamal Adams,
Great.
Jamal Adams.
we have some breaking news here.
What?
Russell Wilson has been ranked number 2 on the NFL top.
Oh my
Lamar's
god!
number
So
one.
Lamar is going to be number 1 this year.
Good, he deserves it.
I mean,
What
you
you
want-
talking
Bro, he was a no-show in the playoffs though.
But I
Man,
do
was-
think Mahomes is
MIA.
number 1 for you.
I don't think Wilson's number 2.
I think Wilson's better than Lamar, honestly.
No, Lamar
Right
won.
It doesn't
now.
matter between Lamar and Russ. It's where is Mahomes? That's the
Exactly.
Mahomes is rated too low.
They just don't. They just don't want to be bought. It's just that. Oh, Marlins have 18 positive tests. Wow.
Oh,
Damn.
Really?
do you
Wow.
think MLB will continue? Do
What?
you think MLB?
Yeah, they'll be fine
Rishi?
because
As
Marlins are the only
long-
team.
as
The
long-
MLB and NFL. Do you think the seasons are going to be full lasted or no?
I don't know. I don't know.
Listen, if the
I
MLB,
mean, the NFL is lucky because they can see what's going on with MLB, and they could base off what they did wrong and do better in that area. But I don't see it happening for the NFL to finish it.
George, where are you?
Yeah, I doubt the NFL is going to get through
Yeah.
a full season without a stoppage of play. The MLB is already facing problems. We're not even a week into the season. I don't think MLB is going to
Well,
finish.
no, baseball. Their problems. There's not really a problem if the Phillies, nobody else has it. But if the Phillies are, if the
Yeah,
40
yeah,
day
but
period.
that's
if Lamar
I guess-
yeah. has it, then they'll be
This
fine.
is sounding a little crazy, but I feel like the NFL could play a season and they could have a game every 2 weeks. So when you test the players right after the game, you would get results back. So you're not like Like, if you see what I'm saying a little.
No, I
Yeah.
think I see what you're saying. I don't know whether that would follow through or not. I feel like they'd have to shorten the season if that was.
Well, that season would have to be. It would be 7 games. It would be like 7-8 games.
No.
I don't think the NFL would be able to do
I don't
that.
think the NFL got the guts for that.
Maybe like
But-
12 or 13, maybe.
I guess that's how you like sort of like guarantee if the players are careful and those days off, they'll be fine. Oh, George.
We have a couple things on the chat that people were.
George is-
Nick
I'll
said
put them up.
Rams. Okay. You can go for that.
Cardinals and Rams aren't going to be as good as Seattle.
I agree with that. Very good point.
Go back when he wants one.
He wants money like
Jadavian.
away from Seattle. Okay.
So the Titans, I think maybe. Mahomes 1, Wilson should be 5.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I like that.
McGad is to go to bed. Good night. That would take years.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's really a tough situation for all the teams involved, for all the teams and organizations involved in that. So is that it for the day?
No, I just want to talk about opening day real quick. Rishi, I think the Clippers will beat the Lakers.
No, stop saying that.
Why do you
Well, we do know one thing that the Lakers are scrubs and they suck.
Oh my god.
Besides the free
Chill.
players, yeah.
Yep. Besides 2
Alright,
players.
hold on. Okay,
Play.
okay, hold on.
LeBron Kuzma, idiot.
LeBron is so good that he makes these scrubs play better than anyone on
They
planet.
are scrubs.
I'm saying LeBron makes them great.
So are you admitting
Without
that?
LeBron, they're scrubs. But with LeBron,
No, they're still scrubs.
not. Nah, that's what
LeBron helps them
You're
let
wrong.
be
That's what
less
you're
of a
wrong.
scrub. LeBron carries
Nah.
them like Aaron Rodgers
LeBron and
does,
AD
basically.
carried them 8.
LeBron and Aaron Rodgers are equivalent in their respective sports. They carry their team. They carry them.
Yeah, but
George, why
the
do you
players
care?
you can't be a number 1 seed in the West and have half the team scrubs. That doesn't make any sense.
No, because you have Rondo and Avery Bradley hurt. That's a big cause to this.
Okay, so then how is the rest of the team scrubs? Just because they're in.
Exactly.
Just because.
No, wait. Alex Caruso, Dwight Howard is good. JaVale McGee is good. JR.
We just got him a week ago.
I
You
don't
can't
We just
really-
got him a week ago.
Listen, you can't judge JR off the scrimmages. He played well in the scrimmages, but I still think you have to give JR time to see what he's going to do in the
I
game.
still don't think besides those 3, the bench is going to struggle.
You understand you're calling NBA starters scrubs, right?
Scrubs.
But you calling Danny Green a scrub?
Danny Green.
He's all right.
I think Danny Green is a good shooter.
Okay, and every time we mention a player, you're saying, oh, they're good.
And going off the Clippers, I feel like the Clippers will beat the Lakers. Game 1 tomorrow.
Nah. They're
But
gonna
you have Tyler and Paul George. And you have a good.
LeBron AD are the best duo in the league. I don't want any.
No, I disagree with that.
George, help me out with this.
Well,
Who's the
there's
best?
nothing to argue about.
Thank
Their
you.
argument is that the Lakers have a bunch of scrubs on their team, and every time we bring up a player, they're just like, "Oh, except for him. Oh, except for that guy too."
No,
And then
but
you got
they have
2
Paul-
scrubs on the team that aren't even gonna play.
That's what I'm saying off this. Kawhi and Paul George and the Clippers have an in-depth, great roster. They have no weaknesses.
Okay.
No weaknesses. Okay,
No
Lou
weaknesses.
Williams.
No.
Bro,
weakness.
Hold on,
Really.
hold on. No weaknesses. So you're saying they
Neither
should
have
go
one.
16-0 in the playoffs? They should just go 16-0 in the playoffs?
I'll give them 1 or 2 weaknesses here and there, but I feel like in the West they have the best chance of going to the finals.
Nah,
What weaknesses
you're wrong.
do the Lakers have that the Clippers don't?
The Lakers,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Kuzma, LeBron,
No,
AD.
stop naming players. What
Look-
Yeah, stop being players. That's
what
not an
weakness
excuse.
do the
What
Lakers have that the Clippers don't?
defense, better defense.
Whoa!
Lakers don't have good defense.
We can't
Kawhi-
play with
Kawhi
defense.
Leonard, Paul George, Patrick Beverly,
Bro,
Montrezl Harrell.
listen.
Okay, so
AD
what about
is a
AD? He's one
It's a
one of the best
contender of the year.
defensive
Kawhi Leonard is not in that
No, but who's
conversation.
leading the league in blocks and rebounds? Rishi.
Okay, why are we talking about stats? We're
I'm
talking
asking
about.
you, who's leading the league in blocks and rebounds?
Okay, that's not nothing to do with the Clippers and the Lakers though.
Yes, but who's leading the league in blocks and rebounds?
Damn it. Orioles.
That Whiteside dude.
7-3.
Fine.
7-3 now?
Yeah. Garrett Cole's had 100 pitches and he homered off of that. So Garrett Cole basically had a good
Bro,
day.
Cleveland Indians winning the Super Bowl. I mean the World Series. So.
Yeah, that's already the mistake
You
there.
know what sport you're in?
That's
Nah, I
the
mean,
mistake right there that we
I
know
mean,
that you don't know
both
enough
these.
baseball if we messed up
Nah.
World Series and Super Bowl. That's when you know.
Yo,
If you want
didn't we beat the
You
Yankees?
know what? Slow down
Did
right
they
there.
beat the Yankees?
Let me
Jake?
know. Let me know why
Yeah,
Cleveland's so much
listen.
better. Let me know.
Bro, their starting pitcher's insane.
They have nobody.
Who is it?
Shane Bieber. That's
I
That's
don't
it.
even say his name.
One.
He's amazing.
Shane Bieber. That's it.
Bro, his last name's Bieber. Like, what do you gotta say?
Corey
He's a-
Kluber gone. Trevor Bauer gone.
Gone.
You have Mike Clevenger is pretty good, but you have 2 starters.
Yeah, that guy. He's gonna be amazing.
How's-
For the
how's
team.
that
Nobody's talking about baseball. You know some information.
You have no
Oh,
information.
Cleveland,
No,
football,
Cole's
he's
so
great.
bad.
Basketball, football. He's a great analysis person.
Cleveland Indians all the way.
Cole's done.
I'm just very excited for the NBA opener tomorrow. Zion is game time, maybe limited minutes, but go from there.
Pelicans being the Jazz opening night. I'm calling it.
Hell no.
Cole's done 6 2/3 innings. Let's get his final line for you today.
And we'll end it there after, I guess, right?
Yep.
Any other questions, George or Rishi? You guys good?
I'm good.
Nah, we already addressed all your nonsense.
6
You
and
don't got-
2/3,
Oh,
4
oh,
hits, 3
oh,
earned runs,
yeah.
2 walks, 7 strikeouts.
What,
Good.
what-
Very good sound line. Very good
to
sound
me.
line by Cole.
Devontra's here. This has made it very entertaining.
He's
Next
mad
week
at
we'll
me.
get
He's
more
mad.
in-depth questions, and
What?
we'll be good from there. Jacob says what? He has to go. He's talking.
So OT.
I guess we'll call it there.
All right, that was a very good show.
We got like 16 likes, bro. Maybe not more. Yeah.
Listen, Portland will not be in the playoffs. That's all I got to say. I'm gonna end it on that note. I got nothing else to
disagree with
say.
you. Disagree with you.
We'll be watching Zion in the playoffs. Maybe Ja.
What time is
Definitely
it?
not Melo.
What time is it?
Not game time. Not game time. Not
Take
game
time.
time.
Yeah, it's time for me to
Jacob,
leave.
please.
Everyone have a good night.
Jacob, George is arguing with this. I disagree with him. With
Oh, he
the
just left.
Portland and AC. Yes, Portland and AC.
Not game time.
It is
So everyone, thank you for watching. We have 6
no, the
viewers right
Instagram,
now.
Twitter, do the whole thing.
Look how long we went for. Waiting for like an hour and 51 minutes. That's very good.
Very good. Follow Instagram, The Second Take on Instagram and Twitter at The Second Take 2. The Second Take, Your Take is coming soon.
Soon.
Very soon. I don't know how soon, but soon. We'll have this audio recording will be on podcast probably tomorrow or the next day. I'll wait until we have the download, and that's really it.
We're at 11 likes, putting that just so,
So
you
tomorrow,
know. 11 likes.
12 likes now.
12
we
likes.
have tomorrow. We have the NBA returning, and
No,
that's really it.
Thank you, Nick. We very much appreciate
And thank you for these
Yeah.
guests.
Thank you,
Nick,
it. Great guests today. Thank you all.
Nick, Jared,
Nick. Thank you,
Armand,
everyone.
George, Rishi. I'm forgetting someone else. Please help me.
No, you're not. You got everyone.
I got everyone? Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you for
Thanks
that.
everyone, and I hope everyone enjoyed. Bye bye.
Jacob, wait. Jacob.
Yep.
Who's your favorite team in the NBA besides
What was your favorite team?
You have to tell us. You waited like 2 months.
I'll let you know next week. Bye bye.
No.